Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to another adventure into the incomprehensible. I like to think of myself as a thinking person, a reflective man, someone not given to fanciful imaginings. That's the way I like to think of myself. But is that the way I am? Because I must admit that my thinking has not solved many problems for me. My reflections have not carried me very far. So now and again I find it extremely salutary to indulge in fanciful imaginings, to take a short walk into the world of obscurantism. For as you will hear one of our characters say, the mind makes so many mistakes.
I have heard that people of great energy, enormous will, people with a surpassing belief in themselves, these are people who simply will not die. They refuse to die. When death is upon them, they are so angry that they will not submit. And you know what energy she had, what a dominating person she was, how much she believed in herself.
Never in us, only in herself.
People like that, they say, would rather live an evil life than no life at all.
Our mystery drama, Sunset to Sunrise, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elspeth Eric and stars Marian Seldes. It is sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal, and by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. How monstrous, you say? To want to live on in wickedness rather than die quietly? Perhaps you're right. Oh, of course you are right. And yet, don't we all hope we won't have to die? Not yet, and not altogether? Is this only monstrous, or is it strangely admirable? In a perverse sort of way, of course.
It's over. I've done it. And the mutilated body lies silent and still at my feet. Let her release come soon. Let me try to explain how I came to do this awful thing. It will be necessary to go back, far back, even to the day I was born, or farther than that, to the hour when, awash in her warm blood, I felt myself pushed down that dark canal into the chilling light. Oh, yes. The woman who lies before me is my mother. But I shall content myself with reverting to the day of her funeral, a gray and dismal day. A long line of villagers passed by the open coffin. I waited with my father until the last of them should have finished viewing the corpse.
Marie isn't here.
She will be, Father.
And Peter?
Oh, I'm not so sure about Peter.
His own mother not to be here?
He's drowning his sorrow, I think.
Oh, you were right about Marie. Here she comes.
But how strange she looks, how quite distraught.
Oh, I wouldn't know why. She never had any affection for her mother-in-law.
Shh. Hello, Marie. We were worried.
Oh, I'm not too late, am I?
No, the funeral hasn't even started.
I mean, they haven't closed the coffin.
Not yet.
Good.
I suppose Peter's...
Where does your brother go when he's needed somewhere?
To a bar. I know.
At least today, Marie, try to think kindly of your husband.
You think kindly of him? He's your son.
Shh. We can move up now. Marie, you go first.
No, No, let your father go first.
Father?
Oh, all right.
How sad, how small he looks.
Yes, small.
You go next, Marie. Marie stood for a second or two by the open coffin, then moved on. Now it was my turn. My eyes filled suddenly with tears. And when I looked down at the quiet body, the expressionless face of my mother, I could scarcely make out her features. I shook the tears away, and I made an effort to see her clearly. Across her breast lay a long spray of wild roses. Without conscious thought, I did what I had never done while she lived. I leaned over and kissed her on the lips. The funeral was over. I sat dry-eyed through it all, and I saw the tears stream down my father's face. After it was over, he said to me,
"Would you walk home with me, Una?"
"Of course I will, Father."
Do you think you could stay and talk for a while? Maybe I could fix you a little supper.
Oh, I'd like that very much.
Ilya won't mind?
Oh, it doesn't matter about Ilya. I took his hand. He let me have it like a trusting child, and we started down the road. The familiar landscape had embraced me all my life, and now it brought back sights and sounds from long ago. And on this day, most particularly, the sight and sound of my mother as I had known her. I saw her handsome, flushed face. I heard her voice.
How sharper than a serpent's tooth to have a thankless child. Oh, what have I done that was so wrong? Why am I being punished? To be given a daughter with no shame, no morals, no sense of decency.
My father trudged on beside me without speaking. His tears had dried. He looked as he'd always looked. Very sweet, very simple. She had been the single love of his life. I had never heard him speak of any other woman. He'd fallen in love with her when she was 16 and waited 5 years to marry her.
It was my mother who got me to marry him. But he wasn't really of my world. Nothing intellectual about him. Well, what could you expect of a farmer?
But marry him she did. And he never asked for anything else. The 2 children she bore him, first my brother Peter, then me. Well, we were simply 2 minor gifts she added to the supreme one of herself. And Peter always belonged more to her than to him.
It's hell to be poor, Peter. Never let it happen to you. Oh, the stories I could tell you about what poverty can do to the ardent soul.
It took Peter a while to get started, but once he got his foot on the ladder, he climbed steadily to the top. And along the way, he married the prettiest girl in town, the dark-eyed Marie.
We're here, Una.
What?
You were dreaming. We're at the house.
Oh, yeah, I must have been dreaming.
Oh, it's a long time. Very long time since you've been in the old house.
2 years.
You're happy living with Ilya?
I don't ask to be happy.
But you're pleased with the arrangement?
It pleases us both.
Go on in.
It looks the same.
Well, nothing's changed. Can I get you something? A hot drink?
No, you sit down and I'll get you something. Oh, take off your coat. Let me help you.
Yes, thank you.
What's this? What's inside your coat?
What? Oh, that I forgot.
Well, it's sewn in. Did you do that? What is it?
Well, it's a sprig of blackthorn.
Well, that's what I thought. Why is it sewn inside your coat?
Marie put it there.
Well, what on earth for?
Una, sit down. You know, Marie's a strange girl. She came here from another country, and where they believe strange things.
Such as what?
Well, you must know. Ilya must have told you.
Ilya's parents were gypsies, but he's not.
But he hasn't forgotten, has he? What they believe, the gypsies.
You don't mean that you...
They believe in the living dead, the dead who refuse to die.
You mean vampires? That is what you mean, isn't it?
I never said I believe.
But you let her sew the blackthorn into your coat?
Well, I couldn't stop her.
But why now? Why today? Oh. You don't mean... Mother?
Marie believes your mother has become a vampire.
I wanted to laugh. We were sober, hard-working, God-fearing people. We were not superstitious, given to odd beliefs. But I looked into my father's face, and I could not laugh.
I've never believed, but...
But what?
I have heard that people of great energy, enormous will, with a surpassing belief in themselves, these are the people who will not die. They refuse to die. When death is upon them, they are so angry that they will not submit. You know, Una, what energy your mother had, what a dominating person she was, how much she believed in herself.
She never believed in us, only in herself.
That's the way she was. And they say that people like that would rather live the evil life of a vampire than not live at all.
Well, I can't believe it. It's horrible.
Well, I don't want to believe it, but Marie seems so sure.
Well, I'm going to talk to her right now. I won't stay for supper, but forgive me. I have to get this terrible notion out of Marie's head before she infects anyone else with it. I walked to the village, to the affluent section of the village where Marie and Peter lived. Their house sat on a beautiful green lawn surrounded by an iron fence with a big gate. I pushed it open, and I went inside and up the long gravel path.
Una, don't come any nearer.
Don't be absurd, Marie.
I don't want you in my house.
We have to talk about this crazy idea you have, Marie.
Your father told you.
I found the blackthorn you sewed into his coat.
It may protect him.
And it was you who put the wild roses on her body, wasn't it?
To keep her in her coffin. I had to do what I could.
Oh, but this is all a great foolishness, Marie. Whatever gave you such a crazy idea about your mother-in-law?
It's not a crazy idea. I felt it even before she died. I sensed that she'd never leave us alone. She'd rather turn into something loathsome and feed off us, drain our strength, drink our blood. And it's happening. It's happening. You want to come in the house? Come. I want you to come in. I want you to see your brother.
Is Peter all right?
All right? I don't know what you call all right. But look at him. There on the sofa.
Oh, Peter.
He's been that way since your mother died, and a good deal of the time before that. Do you think I've had a husband? Do you think that bloated hulk has been a man? Ever?
Oh, what has that to do with...
Don't you know? Don't you know that vampires have such power over young married people? Don't you know that?
No.
Well, ask Ilya. He knows.
Ilya's not a gypsy, not anymore.
Ask his mother. Ask his father. Ask old Wanda Beresti. Ask
Oh, it's all fable and myth. It's not real.
Do you know that I may never have a child? Or you? Do you know that?
No.
If she decides, we'll be barren forever. That's the kind of power they have.
Oh, you'll never make me believe it.
You have got to believe. You of all people.
Why me?
Because you are a damn fire.
What's that? What is a damn fire?
One born of a vampire. Only a damn fire can see a vampire.
But I can't see my mother. I'm not a damn fire.
Go home. Go home, Una. One of these nights, between sunset and sunrise, you will see her.
Vampires. Vampires and their offspring, the Damfires. They may shock you, repel you, terrify you, but never, never will they bore you. We'll be back shortly with Act 2. At the end of Act 1, Una decided to return to Elia, her gypsy lover. A gypsy from the remotest regions of Transylvania, where all the best vampires come from. At least all the best stories about vampires come from there, and Elia knows them all.
But they're all superstition, Una. Handed down from generation to generation.
You don't believe them.
I used to when I was very young. You see, the stories were always about very, very powerful people. I think they couldn't get used to the idea that very powerful people could actually die.
My mother was a very powerful woman.
Ah, but she died, like everybody else, sooner or later.
You never really knew my mother.
I wasn't welcome in her house.
I think I only came here to live with you to spite her. All my life she told me how immoral I was, how wicked, how filled with wild desires.
And you were?
Yes.
And you knew where to take those wild desires, didn't you?
Yes.
And what man to give them to?
Yes.
Well, lucky me.
It was to show her, to say yes to her. Yes, I am like that. Yes, I'm what you say. Yes, I'm loose and immoral and wicked and all those things. And yes, you're right not to love me because I'm not lovable. I'm hateful and vile.
No,
yes.
No, you are not hateful.
Oh, you don't know.
I know enough. Lie still now. Let me hold you.
Yes. Hold me.
What's that?
What's what?
I thought I heard something.
I don't hear anything.
Don't you hear it? Listen.
You don't...
It's a bat.
A bat? Turn on the light.
No, please. I don't want to see it.
Ilya, get rid of it.
I won't touch it.
What are you doing?
I put it on my clothes.
Why? Why?
It's your mother. It's your mother, Una. She's back.
It's not. You said you didn't.
Never mind what I said. I was wrong.
It's a bat in the rafters. It's not my mother.
How do you know? How do you know for sure?
Be.
The old women were right. They come back, you see.
No.
They come back to live off the living and suck our blood.
Ilya, where are you going?
To my mother's house.
Ilya, don't go. Mother? All night long, I lay in the dark, listening to the bats swoop and chatter in the rafters. Sunset to sunrise, I lay awake and listened. For as the warning light of the sun started to glow in the east, the bat was suddenly quiet. Hadn't Marie told me that the old stories all agreed that vampires could only venture out between sunset and sunrise? The bat was gone, and I was alone. Then came a pounding at the door. I got out of bed and I went to answer it. Had Ilya come back? Had he thought better of his foolish fears? And come back? Ilya? Oh, Peter.
Let me in, Una.
Yes, come in.
I have to talk to you.
You're very drunk.
Never mind. Never mind about that. I have to ask you something important.
Well, first tell me why you didn't come to our mother's funeral.
Never mind about that either.
Marie was there.
Marie was not there. Not for the funeral. She went to the church to put some wild roses on the body. She didn't stay to see her buried. Not that she's really buried. Not that she'll ever be really buried. She'll be around for a long time till she's drained us all dry, and long after that, maybe forever, who knows? Do vampires ever really die?
Peter, stop that. Our mother is not a vampire.
Is it true? Marie says it's true.
Is what true, Peter?
Did you kiss her? When she was lying in her coffin, did you really kiss her?
Yes, I did.
Oh no. Why did you do that?
I don't know quite. I think it was because I'd never kissed her before, and I was sorry that I hadn't.
Don't you know what you've done?
I haven't done anything.
You've put your lips to her poison. You've made yourself like her.
I haven't done anything. I said goodbye to her. I kissed her goodbye, that's all.
Don't you know that vampires spread their foul contagion on the living? Isn't it bad enough that you and I are damn fires just because she gave us birth?
Stop it. I don't want you to talk this way.
You and I can see her. Have you seen her?
Of course I haven't.
I have. Shall I tell you why I didn't come to the funeral? I was with her, that's why. She came to my room and stood in the door. She was very beautiful. She had on her white lace dress, and she smiled at me.
You were drunk.
She didn't mind. She just smiled. But then her smile grew wider and wider till the whole room was filled with her smile. It took away the sunshine. I tell you, Una.
Peter, oh Lord. Come in. Peter, are you all right? Come in. The door's not locked. Oh, Marie.
Yes. I thought he'd be here. Oh, don't try to move him. Let him sleep it off.
He's just drunk.
He's been drunk for days. Let him lie there.
But just before you got here, he was trying to tell me that he saw our mother, that she came to his room.
Only the damp fires can see a vampire.
You made him believe it.
Because it's true. And Una, there's something else that's true, and you'd best know it. Only a damp fire can kill a vampire.
Kill?
The best we others can do is try to protect ourselves with the blackthorn and the wild roses and all
Marie,
that.
I will not listen.
There is something you can do. You could help us to protect ourselves.
Marie, I just don't believe in this superstitious...
You don't. But we do. Nobody's slept a wink since the day she died. Oh, they know she'll go after us first, but no one in the village is really safe.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Move the body across the river.
What for, in God's name?
Wanda Beresti says it's very difficult for a vampire to cross over water.
I don't believe any of this. I don't believe it's happening.
Well, it's happening, all right. And everyone believes it, but you... You can't make the rest of us live in this torment because you refuse to believe.
Perhaps. You could be right.
You will move the body across the river?
Oh, I'll have to talk to Father.
Oh, talk to him. Talk to him now. Before it's too late.
I left Marie to get Peter home the best way she could. And I started off for my father's house. How could I ask him to disinter the body of his beloved wife only 2 days after she'd been laid to rest? What kind of daughter would nourish the horrid thought in her father's mind that his wife might be a vampire? Oh, how I needed someone to tell me what to do.
Una.
Hello, Father. May I come in?
Of course you may come in. Oh, I'm so glad to see you.
You're all right, aren't you?
Yes, I'm all right. Oh, now, can you stay for a little while?
As long as you like.
Oh, good. I could make a little supper if you could stay that long.
Father, Peter came to see me today.
Oh? How was he?
Drunk. But not so drunk that he couldn't say what he came to say.
And what was that?
That I had contaminated myself when I kissed my mother's mouth as she lay in her coffin.
Oh, my dear girl.
Do you believe that, Father?
Oh, my dear, I'm so confused.
You do believe it?
I don't know what to believe anymore.
And Marie came to see me, too.
Oh, yes? Well, what did she want?
Marie wants Mother's coffin moved to the other side of the river.
Oh, your mother is buried in the family plot. I promised her. Why does she want the body moved?
Marie says that to cross water is very hard for vampires. I could hardly bear the torment in my father's face. It's so hard when everyone around you believes one thing, to stand alone and believe another. I kissed my father gratefully. Grateful for his kindness, his patience. He asked me to stay the night. There was still my old room. I lay down on the narrow bed, but my eyes would not close. I stared at the black square I knew to be the window. Beyond the door, I could hear my father washing the supper dishes. Then I heard it. Very faint, but unmistakable. Someone tapping on the window pane. I lay rigid in the narrow bed. And then I heard... Oh, no! Oh, no!
Is that how a vampire sounds? I don't know, or I'd tell you. Half a century ago, a vampire was actually tried in a London court. A gentleman it was, by the name of George Hecht. Unhappily, we have no record of the gentleman's voice, and it all happened so long ago, I've no idea whether or not he was ever convicted. I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
This is WBBM Chicago News Radio 78.
When I was very young, I thought how convenient and how very right that we had entered into the age of enlightenment, leaving occult fantasies behind. As I grew a little older, I was not so sure. Now that I'm quite grown up, I am not sure at all but what the dreams and frenzies of an earlier time did not serve its people as well or better than mine are serving me.
Jumped from the bed and ran to the window. There was no moon, but the stars were very bright. Bright enough so that the trees cast wavering shadows on the grass. Oh, no! And then I saw her beneath a poplar tree just outside the window, dressed in white lace, her long hair falling to her waist. She lifted her face to the window, and by the light of the stars I saw it. Not hideous, not obscene, no, beautiful as it had been in life, but transfigured now by such appalling grief as I had never seen before. The dark eyes staring, the cheeks glistening with tears, the mouth stretched wide as it cried. I needed my father. I could not bear the sight of this apparition by myself. I heard him moving about in the kitchen, and I ran to him. Oh, Oh, Father! Father! She's here!
What, dear? What did you say?
She's here! Mother is here!
Is she?
No. She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Where is she?
Outside the window. I heard her calling me, and I went to the window, and I saw her standing under the tree, and... Oh, Father, she looks so sad.
Oh, my dear little girl, you've had a dream.
It's not a dream. She's there.
Oh, so soon after the funeral, it's natural for you to dream.
Oh, come with me. I'll show you.
You're overwrought, dear child.
Come with me, you'll see. If there were a moon, you'd see quite clearly, but even by the starlight, you can see her. Look. Look there.
Where? I don't see her.
Beneath the big poplar tree, right there.
I don't see anything.
In her white dress. Look at her.
I can't see anything. Nothing but the grass and a few shadows, that's all.
That's all?
Oh, my dear child, you had a dream.
No dream. I saw her. But you can't see her. She must be a vampire, and I am a damnfire.
What are you saying?
Only the offspring of a vampire can see the vampire. Peter said he saw her. I know I saw her. We are her offspring, Peter. And I are vampires.
Oh, no, please, you don't know what you're saying.
Oh, I know very well. Only a vampire can see a vampire. And only a vampire can kill a vampire. Well, then,
What are you doing, Ona?
Gonna open this window?
No, don't.
And invite her in. Mother, come in. Come in. Your daughter is waiting to receive you. My father rushed from the room.
I can't stay. I can't watch. I can't.
I stood by the window, waving to the white figure beneath the poplar tree. It was several minutes before she moved, and then very slowly, with uncertain steps, she came toward the window. She looked up at me like a child that is not certain of her welcome.
Una?
You've come back to live off of us, haven't you, Mother? Even in death, we are your possessions, your very prized possessions, because from us you drew pride and haughtiness and self-importance. That's what we did for you in life, and that's what you mean we should do for you now. That's it. Isn't it, Mother?
Una, no. Forgive.
Forgive?
What went before. Forgive it.
Forgive? I've never heard you say that word.
Now I say it. Forgive me. All that I did. I beg of you, forgive me all my sins.
Father was right. This is a dream.
Forgive me, that I may lie quiet in my grave.
Oh, God, let me wake up. God, deliver me from this dream.
You don't hear me. Oh, Una, why don't you hear me?
Perhaps I fainted. I don't know. I suppose I did, because I remember nothing more until I was wakened by a knock on the door. I opened my eyes. I was lying on the floor next to the narrow bed, and the sun was streaming through the window. I got to my feet. Come in, Father. Celia.
Are you all right, Una?
Yes, I'm all right.
You look so pale.
Oh, I had a bad night, a bad dream.
Yes, your father told me.
My father? He went to fetch you. That's why you're here?
I would have come back to you anyway. I only went to see my mother to ask her what she knows about vampires. All the old women were there. Wanda, Baresti, and all the others.
Oh, they must have filled you full of stories.
Una, when a whole town believes that a vampire is loose, they become terrified. A vampire, Una, is soulless, mindless energy on the march, knowing neither good nor evil, only its own desires. And the vampire must be killed, Una. Do you know why? Lest we become like the vampire. We can become like that, Una. Unless a stake is driven through the vampire's heart.
And who is to do that?
You know.
Only a damn fire can kill a vampire.
A stake must be driven through the throat of the corpse. If blood spurts from the throat, it is proof that a vampire lived in that body.
Can I do such a thing to my own mother's corpse?
It must be done before the sun sets, or she'll walk abroad tonight.
Ilya, do you know that I thought she was here last night, in this very room? And she kept saying, "Forgive, forgive." And then, of course, I knew it was a dream, because my mother would never say such a thing as forgive.
She was asking you to forgive her?
Imagine a proud woman like my mother to say a thing like that.
You heard her say, "Forgive me"?
In my dream, yes. I suppose it's because I hated her so much in life. I liked the idea that she was sorry for all the grief she'd caused us.
Una, listen. While I was at my mother's house, she told me that there had been cases now and then where a dead person returned night after night and terrified everyone because it was taken for granted that the dead one had become a vampire. But it wasn't always true. There were times when the dead one was what they call a returner.
A returner? What is that?
One who comes back, so my mother says, to ask forgiveness.
Are you telling me that my mother did come back last night, asking to be forgiven? That it was no dream?
It's possible, isn't it?
And if it is true, if she is a returner?
You must get a writ of absolution from the bishop and place it on her body.
How can I tell? How can I know that she is a returner and not a vampire?
You'll have to go through with it before sundown.
Oh, no. No. Drive a stake through my own mother's throat.
Una, more than half the village believes your mother has become a vampire. Marie wants you to move her body across the river.
And even my father is wearing the blackthorn in his coat.
And even I. When I heard the bat in the rafters, I thought it might be your mother. You must have the grave opened, Una, and the coffin. And before the sun goes down, you must drive the stake into your mother's throat. Then we shall see whether she is a returner or that foul creature of the night, a vampire.
Ilya himself uncovered the coffin and pried it open. I told my father what I meant to do before the sun went down.
If you must, my daughter. If you think you must.
If she is really a vampire, Father, only I can do it. And I went to Peter and Marie.
You wouldn't ask me to do it, Una?
No, I wouldn't ask you, Peter.
You're very brave, Una. I'd have been content if you'd only moved her body across the river.
There's so much talk in the village. So much fear, so much horror. We must settle this thing once and for all. I went from house to house telling everyone to be by the graveside just before sunset. They looked at me with pity, some of them, others with revulsion, but all promised to be there, and so it happened. I wish to thank you all for coming here. You all know of the belief that has spread through our village. Many of you share in it. My own family leans toward it. The belief that the body of the woman who lies here is not a corpse, but the shell that houses a vile and loathsome being, a vampire. That this vampire threatens the lives of all of us, and the sanity, the spirit, and the soul of any who escape with their lives. Listen, I have here a stake. The sun is setting, While there is still a little light, I shall drive this stake through my mother's throat. If blood gushes forth, then I shall have killed a vampire. I shall also have murdered my mother. If no blood comes from the body, we will know that she is no more than a returner who is asking forgiveness for the wrong she did in life. As we all one day will have to ask for forgiveness for the wrong we have done.
Yes.
Pray for me. Pray for me. Pray for yourselves. And if you can give her your forgiveness, the bishop will give her absolution. I hold the stake high for all of you to see. And now! There is no blood. Go. Send for the bishop. It's over. I've done it. And the mutilated body of my mother lies at my feet. Oh, let her release come soon.
What was it someone said, speaking of vampires, that they are soulless energy on the march? There are days when the news is very, very bad. I think I hear the vampires chattering in the air. They're all around us, ready to swoop down and suck our blood, destroy our pride, and leave us supine and helpless. You needn't call them vampires if you don't want to. It doesn't matter what you call them, but look out for them. They may not be returners at all. I'll be back shortly. Ah, sweet mystery of life. And sometimes not sweet at all, but bitter, baffling, and impenetrable. I can offer you but a minor clue to the solution. Given humanity with its weaknesses and its imperfections, life could not be otherwise. Life is not a mystery. We are. Our cast included Marian Seldes, Bryna Raeburn, William Johnstone, and William Redfield. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
What was that?
Sounds like a rock slide.
Yes, some rocks in front of the entrance. Lots of them.
Hey, maybe we better move them.
Oh, we can still get out. Let's stay a little longer. I love this place.
All right.
I climbed down. My brain was on fire. My whole body was on fire. I had never felt such hatred as I felt then. Not since, well, Doctor, you know when I've told you. I took hold of a big boulder, pushed and shoved till it stood against the mouth of the cave. I heard the voices of the lovers, fainter now from inside.
George, it's really dark. It's darker than before.
There's no light at all.
I had sealed them in.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by new sugar-free diet 7-Up. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall, and I want very much to tell you the story of a young lady named Barbara. Everyone is more or less mad on one point, said Rudyard Kipling, the famous English writer. And I'm inclined to agree with him, since I myself am more or less mad on the point of mystery. But our sweet heroine's madness took a strange turn, as we shall soon discover in the unfolding of the tale entitled, All Living Things Must Die.
Barbara, you're a nut, you know that?
Why am I?
Oh, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just trying to con me. Well, it didn't work, little lady. The answer is still no.
I hate you.
No dog, no baby. Just be happy with all these dumb plants.
I hate you.
You're lucky I let you keep them.
I hate you. I wish you were dead.
What did you say?
I said I hate you. I wish you were dead.
Our mystery drama, All Living Things Must Die, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elspeth Eric and stars Mercedes McCambridge. It is sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal, and by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Now begins our story of the lightly demented Barbara. A lovely lady of 31 or 2, even 4 or 5. But as we now discover her in the living room of her suburban home, she could be younger than springtime. She could be spring itself.
I love you. I love you all. You are my darlings, my pets, my very own treasures. Oh, how beautiful you are, and how much I love you. What? Well, that can't be Frank. He never forgets his key. Oh, it's...
Johnson, ma'am. Detective Sergeant Johnson from the other day.
Oh, yes. Come in. I didn't realize you'd be back.
Well, I was just checking up. Had any more of those obscene phone calls?
No, not one. And it's such a relief you can't imagine.
Mm-hmm. You had your number changed?
Yes. And that seems to have done the trick, all right.
Oh, good. Now, a lady like you shouldn't be bothered by things like that.
Well, there's one other thing I hate to mention.
No, go ahead. Mention anything you want to. We're here to serve.
Well, it could be my imagination, but every once in a while, I see a man sort of hanging around across the street, not doing anything in particular, but just hanging around.
Mm-hmm. Any special time of day?
Yes, usually about this time. I see him through this window when I'm putting my plants to bed.
Oh, you tuck them in, do you?
Well, sort of. I talk to them, and sometimes I sing them a lullaby. I know that sounds silly, but, well, that's what I do. And then sometimes through the window, I think I see this man.
Well, it's kind of hard to see out this window, ma'am. The plants sort of get in the way.
Yes, I know they do, but they like it here. I tried other places, but they weren't happy, so...
They are happy here, huh?
Well, they haven't complained. Although I'm not sure about Annabelle. This one is Annabelle. That's Arthur. And that's Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Marian. And that spider plant over there is Michael.
Oh, Michael's in great shape, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he is. Are you laughing at me? Please don't.
Do I look like I'm laughing?
My husband laughs at me sometimes.
I wouldn't know why.
Oh, because... Now, you see this one, Marian?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you take a close look, because you won't see a Marian every day in the week.
Well, Marianne is, well, she looks like ivy to me.
Yes, but her leaves are heart-shaped. Can't you see? Each one is shaped like a perfect little heart.
You know, you're right.
Yes. There are more than 200 varieties of ivy. Did you know that?
No, I never did.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, Frank. This is my husband. Frank, this is Detective Sergeant Johnson.
Ed Johnson.
How are you?
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Murray.
He came to check up on those phone calls.
Oh, yeah, from the degenerates. I told Barbara she should answer him back in his own language.
Oh, Frank, please.
Let him have it. Give it to him right between the eyes. The ears, I should say, in this instance.
Well, I'll be getting along.
Well, I'll show you to the door.
Say, listen, why can't you catch those freaks?
Thank you for coming around, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, sure. I'll stop by again if it's all right with you.
Oh, anytime, practically. I'm almost always here.
And, take good care of Annabelle.
Oh, I will.
And don't let Michael grow too fast.
I'll do my best.
Good night, Mrs. Murray.
Good night, Sergeant Johnson. And thank you.
Now, don't you mention it.
What was all that about?
Well, I told you. The phone calls.
I mean, all that whispering, all that bzz at the door just now.
Oh, we weren't whispering.
What were you talking about? That I wasn't supposed to hear?
Nothing. He just said, I don't know, something about the plants, that's all.
What does he know about plants?
Well, nothing much. When he was here the first time, and just now before you came in, I told him about them. He knows that I talked to them and that they have names. He was just being friendly, Frank.
That's being friendly? Dropping in all the time when I'm not here?
Only twice. This was only the second time.
He's a kook like you. Freaked out over a bunch of plants.
He was only expressing an interest.
What's interesting about a bunch of plants with no flowers? Look at them. They take up the whole window. You got them strung all over the place, up to the ceiling, hanging down.
They're vines, Frank. There's silver lace and philodendron and ivy.
Oh, whatever they are, they're dumb. Plain dumb. I wouldn't object to a nice pot of tulips, something like that, sitting on a table. Like a nice spot of color or a hyacinth. They smell good. But these things...
Don't hurt them, don't.
I got no use for them at all. Get rid of them, why don't you?
No, never. You can't make me.
Oh, boy, you sure cry easy. What'd I say was so terrible?
You said get rid of them.
Well, all right. Forget I mentioned it. What's for dinner?
It's Swiss steak.
Again?
Well, it's been a whole week.
Well, get it on the table, because I got to get out of here early.
You mean you're going out?
I got a date to go bowling.
Tonight?
Well, certainly tonight. What do you think, next year?
But you were out last night and the night before.
And I may go out tomorrow night, the night after that. So what?
Frank, I get so lonely.
Well, read a book, watch TV, listen to the radio.
But almost every night and all day.
Well, all right, talk to your plants. That's what you got them for, isn't it? Have a nice little conversation with Michael and Mary Louise and Archibald, whatever you call them.
Never mind. Just never mind.
Well, look, I'm going to take a quick shower and then we'll eat. 10 minutes on the outside, okay?
Okay. Oh, Arthur. Annabelle. Tell me that you love me. Marian, do you love me? Michael. Kenneth. Oh, somebody love me. Please. Somebody love me or I'll die.
That Swiss steak wasn't bad at all.
Thank you.
Got any dessert?
Just fruit.
I'll take an apple with me.
Frank, don't go for a minute.
Well, I told you I got a date.
No, I want to talk to you about something.
I'll go ahead, but keep it short, will you?
Oh, Frank, remember when we got married?
Well, how could I forget with you to remind me?
Well, you said then that you didn't want to have any children right away.
I don't believe in rushing into things like that.
Frank, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
But isn't it different now?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think I'm too old for kids.
Oh, you're only 45.
Well, by the time my kid grew up, I'd be an old man.
No, not really old.
Well, aren't you kind of old to be having a kid for the first time?
Frank, lots of women have children at my age. Lots of them.
I don't know if it's safe.
Yes, it is. It happens all the time, and I'm very healthy. I'm very strong.
You don't look too strong.
Well, I am, because the doctor said so.
When did you go to see a doctor?
Last week.
I don't like you doing that without asking me first.
Well, I wanted to be sure before I talked to you. And the doctor says it'd be perfectly all right for me to have a baby. As a matter of fact, he said it'd be the best thing in the world for me.
Well, I can't see it.
On account of the loneliness, Frank, I don't think you realize how lonely I get. That's why I talk to the plants and sing to them. Because I haven't got anybody else.
Well, make some friends, why don't you?
That's not easy for me.
Well, why not? I do it all the time.
Anyway, it's not the same as having somebody right here in the house with me all the time. It's not the same intimate kind of thing. If I had a baby... Oh, Frank, I wouldn't ask for anything else ever. And I'd give that baby so much love and attention. It would grow up to be the most marvelous person because it would know from the very beginning that it was loved and wanted. Oh, so much wanted.
Well, I don't want it. You got that? A kid is the last thing in the world I want.
Please.
No. I live in this house, too, you know. I don't want a kid running around, messing up everything, making a lot of noise, getting in the way all the time.
No, it wouldn't be like that.
Oh, yes, it would. No, I won't have a kid messing up my life, and that's final, so forget it, huh? You hear me? Forget it. Put it out of your mind. Okay? Well, I gotta get going. Guys are waiting for me at the bowling.
Frank.
All right, now what?
No, I won't keep you a minute.
I haven't got a minute.
Please, less than a minute.
Well, okay, spill it.
When I was at the supermarket this morning, there was this dog.
A dog? Oh, boy.
Really, a very pretty dog, and so sweet. And he was just wandering around. Nobody knew who he belonged to, or if he belonged to anybody. He's just a stray, as far as anybody knows.
No dog.
And he has this cute little tail that curls up right over his back, and great ears that stand up straight and then flop over. And he's mostly black with a kind of white face.
Barbara, we've been through all this. I will not have a dog in my house. Now, that is how it is, and I don't want to talk about it now or never. You understand that?
Yes.
I gotta go.
Frank?
I said I gotta go.
Just one more thing. There's this man hanging around outside.
What man? Hanging around where?
I was telling Detective Johnson about it. This man sort of hangs around across the street. And I thought, if he's a prowler or a dangerous kind of person, well, a dog would be protection for me, see, when I'm alone.
What makes you think this guy is dangerous?
I don't know that he is, but every night now when I'm watering the plants just before you come home, I can see him through the window, just sort of standing there and looking around.
This window?
Yes. He looks kind of shifty, Frank. And if I had a dog, I'd feel safe.
I can't see it.
He's right across the street.
I can't see on account of these dumb plants.
Don't hurt them.
Why do you have to grow them so damn long?
Just part them very carefully. Here, let me.
Oh, no, I can do it.
There. Can you see that man?
I see him. Barbara, you're a nut, you know that?
Why am I?
That's the guard they hired at the high-rise. They pay him to watch the building. Of course he's here every night. That's what he's paid for.
I didn't know that.
Are you trying to con me into letting you have a dog for protection? Well, it won't work, Barbara. The answer's still the same. No dog, no baby. Just be happy with these dumb plants. They're bad enough. Taking up the whole bloody window, spilling all over the place.
I hate you.
Yeah, look, I'll let you keep them.
I hate you. I wish you were dead.
What did you say?
I said I hate you. I wish you were dead.
Did you really say... Hey, what? What's this? The bloody plants are on my neck. Hey, Barbara, they're all around me. They're choking me. I can't get them off. Hey, Barbara, they're too strong. Barbara, don't stand there. Get them off. Get the scissors. Barbara, the scissors.
I hate you. I hate you. I want you dead.
Rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 37. We'll return shortly for the second act of All Living Things Must Die.
Baseball tonight, the Chicago Cubs lost to Houston, the score 18-2.
Now for the second act of All Living Things Must Die. It is a year later, and our heroine no longer lives in the little suburban house, nor is her name Barbara Murray. She lives in a cheery little 2-room apartment, and she is married to Detective Sergeant Ed Johnson. But Kenneth and Arthur and Mary Ann and Michael and Annabelle, all the plants are grouped together in the largest window, and all appear to be in the best of health.
Baby boat's a silver moon sailing on the sea. Oh, he's home. Ed?
Hello, sweetheart.
Hello, darling.
Hey, watch out.
What have you got there?
Oh, just a little addition to the family.
What? What is
Well,
it?
let me get the paper off, will you?
Okay.
Here it is. How's that, huh?
Ed. Oh, it's beautiful.
You know what it's called?
Yes, do you?
Sure, a purple passion plant.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I thought it was very appropriate for two people who've been married a month.
Oh, it is, Ed. It's beautiful. And you were so sweet to think of it.
Well, there's something else I've been thinking of.
What's that?
Honey, is it too soon for us to be thinking about having a baby?
A baby?
Well, you do want us to have a baby, don't you, Barbara?
Well, I guess so.
I brought the subject up too soon. I can see that. Dumb me. I'm sorry.
No, that's right.
No. I was stupid. Forget I mentioned it, huh? Only, it doesn't do any harm to think about it a little, does it?
No. I guess it doesn't do any harm to think about it. Oh, Cleopatra. You're growing very nicely, dear. It would take a little while before you'll be as long as Annabelle. And you'll probably never be as long as Michael. But then very few plants are. But you're so healthy and strong. And I love your purple leaves. You're very beautiful, my darling. Yes, you are. Oh, he's home. Darling? Darling, you're home.
Yep, I'm home. Hey, look what I brought with me.
What? Oh, no, it's a dog.
Uh-huh.
Oh, isn't he darling?
Yeah. He wandered into the station house about a week ago. We've been feeding him, and he's been sleeping there.
Look, his tail curls up over his back.
Yeah, he's got a great disposition.
Oh, my. Doesn't he belong to anybody?
Well, we advertised in the paper 3 days running. Nobody answered the ad.
You mean he's got no home? Nobody wants him?
Well, not unless you do.
You mean I can have him? He can live here with us?
Well, would you like that?
Oh, yes.
Dog, I guess you got a home.
Oh, I love him.
Dog, you got yourself a mother.
Look at him. Look how he's looking at you.
Yeah. Come here, dog. Come here.
Oh, he loves you. You can see it in his eyes. He just loves you.
Well, I'm his father, aren't I? Hey, dog, do you love your father?
Of course he loves you. How could he help but love you? How could anybody help but love you?
Well, there's only one person has to love me. That's you.
Uh-huh.
But you have to, baby. It's absolutely necessary. It's essential that you love me, because if you don't, it's the end of me.
Oh, Ed, I love you so much. I can't even talk about it. Just believe me. I love you, and I love you, and I love you. When you're here and when you're not here, and when you're asleep and when you're awake, and when you talk and when you don't talk, and when you look at me and when you don't. I love you all the time.
Hey, that's a lot of love.
I've got more.
More?
Anytime you need it.
Barbara. Honey, look, we've been married better than half a year now. When are we going to start having a baby?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty soon?
I guess.
You want one, don't you, honey?
Yes.
Well, when do we?
Well,
sometime.
Oh, sweetheart, we're not kids anymore.
I know that.
You think I'm putting the pressure on you? No, I shouldn't do that. I didn't mean to.
No, that's all right.
No, I won't do that anymore. You just got to tell me when you think is the right time. I won't bother about it anymore.
Oh, Ed,
Now, what are we going to name the dog?
I don't know.
How about Cuthbert or Lance?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Herman? Dwight?
No, I don't want to give him any name like that. I want to call him what you called him.
Me? I never called him
Yes, you
anything.
did. You called him Dog. That's what I want to call him.
D-A-W-G? Dog?
Yes, come here, Dog.
Hey.
Oh, what a lovely dog you are, Dog. Hi, darling.
Hello, love. How do you feel?
I feel marvelous.
Well, you look marvelous. How's the family?
Well, I've been giving Annabelle a little too much water, but everybody else is fine.
Oh, I brought you a present. A first anniversary present.
Well, I have one for you, too.
Here. It's an engagement ring. You never had one.
Oh, Ed, this is lovely.
Do you like it?
Oh, yes, I love it. Almost as much as I love you, and Dog, and Annabelle, and Kenneth.
Hey, watch it.
And I got you a ring, too.
What?
Yes, a wedding ring, because you never had one.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's real nice. Is it okay for a man to wear this?
Well, it just shows everybody that you're married.
Well, everybody knows I'm married.
Does everybody really know you're married?
Well, I talk about it all the time.
Do you
Sure.
really? Do you
Sure.
talk about it?
Well, I'm married to you, so naturally it's you I talk about.
I bet you bore everybody to tears.
Yeah, I bet I do. Of course, there always comes a time when they break in and say, any kids? You got any kids?
Yes, I suppose they do say that.
And, of course, I say no, and they say, well, why not? And I don't know what to say.
Ed, I'm so sorry.
Honey, why not? You have to tell me.
Well, it's a feeling that I have.
Well, don't you want to, baby? I always thought you were the kind of woman who'd want a family.
It's hard to explain.
Well, you've got to try.
Okay, I'll try. Only yet I don't think you're going to like what I'm going to tell you.
Anything. I want to hear anything you have to tell me.
Well, I have to go back to the night that Frank died.
Frank?
Yeah.
What's Frank got to do with it?
I'm going to tell you if you listen.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, you remember when I called you that night and I told you that Frank was dead? You remember that?
Yeah, sure. Of course I remember.
And you came over with the others and you asked me how it happened.
Yeah?
And I said I didn't know. I said that Frank was going to go out bowling, and he must have been in a hurry, and the room was dark, and he must have stumbled into the plants and got tangled up in them, and he couldn't get out.
Yeah, but he was strangled by the plants, baby. It was a freak accident.
No, that isn't what happened at all.
Honey, are you trying to tell me... I don't know, are you trying to tell me that you pushed him or something, that you wrapped the plants around his neck?
I didn't.
All right, now, wait a minute. Maybe you better tell it to me from the beginning.
Well, you remember Frank came home that day while you were still here.
Uh-huh.
And then you left. And he told me to hurry up with dinner because he was going out. And I got upset. I told him I get so lonely here. Lonely every night. Almost every day.
Read a book, watch TV, listen to the radio, talk to your plants. That's what you got them for, isn't it?
So after dinner, I said I wanted to talk to him about having a baby.
A kid is the last thing in the world I want.
And I think maybe it was then that I got the idea.
What idea?
It just seemed awfully important to me to get Frank over by the window where the plants were hanging. So I told him that there'd been a man hanging around outside across the street.
What man? Hanging around where?
And he started walking toward the window. And I started feeling this awful, wild excitement. The nearer he got to the window, the nearer he got to the plants. And then I said it.
Said what, honey?
I hate you. I said, I hate you. At first, Frank didn't hear me. Or maybe he didn't believe his ears, but I said it again. I hate you. And then I said, I wish you were dead. He heard me say that.
Then what happened?
He started to look angry, and he made a little move toward me, and it was then, when he started to move, that the plants moved. They moved faster than anyone would think plants could move, and they wound themselves around his neck. around and around and tighter and tighter. And Frank began to choke.
Barbara, they're all around my neck. They're choking me.
Oh, no.
I can't get them off. Don't stand there. Get them off. Get the scissors.
No.
Barbara, the scissors.
Because there were scissors there, on the windowsill. And Frank couldn't reach them because the plants were holding him so tight and tighter all the time. And I knew the scissors were there. I kept them there all the time, just the way I do now, to cut off the dead leaves and things. But I didn't move. I just stood there, repeating those awful words. I hate you. I hate you. I wish you were dead.
Barbara! Barbara!
I watched his face turn purple and then blue. And then he dropped to the floor. And I watched him drop. And I looked at him. But all I said was, dead.
Oh, darling.
I listened to the plants for a while. They seemed to be telling me, see how we love you. See, we'll do anything you ask. We are your true loves. We've killed for you. Now you know how much we love you. And then I went to the phone and called you.
Darling, you had a bad dream, that's all.
No, it wasn't a dream. I made the plants do what they did, don't you see? I said I wanted Frank dead, and they heard me. Or they felt what I was feeling, or they sensed it or something. And because they love me and because they know that I'd never kill anybody,
of course
they went ahead and did it for me.
Sweetheart, even if what you say is true, if it could be
It
true,
is
you
true.
never laid a finger on
But
Frank.
I'm an accessory, don't you see? I wanted someone to kill Frank. Not me, but someone. And the plants knew it, and they killed him for me.
Do you think anybody's going to believe you, sweetheart?
Ed, do you believe me?
Honey, is this why you don't want to have a baby?
Oh, I want to, but
But what?
that's how it all started. Me asking Frank if I could have a baby.
Why don't you try asking me? You know what kind of an answer you'll get, don't you? Go ahead. Ask me.
Ed, is it all right? Is it? Hello. This is Mrs. Ed Johnson. Yes. Well, I saw the doctor a couple of days ago, and he was going to have a test made to see if I... Oh, you can't tell me. It is? Really? Really? Yes, I believe you. Thank you very much. It's true. It's really true, dog. Michael, Marian, I'm going to have a baby. Annabelle, it's true. Kenneth, Cleopatra, Arthur, finally, I'm going to have a baby. What do you think about that? Are you pleased? Are you happy? Tell me what you think, because you're very important to me. Yes, you're my best friend. I'm not young anymore, and there are people who think I'm, well, strange. I'm too emotional, that's what they think. And they may be right. How do I know? So please, tell me, because I trust you. Is it all right for me to have a baby? Do you really think so? Ed, it's true. I just called the doctor's office and they told me it's true. I'm going to have a baby, Ed. Tell me, is it really all right?
Is it really all right to bring a baby into a house where the plants in the window listen and talk among themselves, where they feel love and gratitude, but also they feel fear and anger and revenge, where they stir themselves at last and move in to kill? We'll be back shortly with Act 3.
WBBM Chicago, News Radio 78.
We're still still in the little two-room apartment, and the plants still hang in the window, but everything else is different. The rugs have been taken up. The pictures have been taken down from the walls, and the furniture has been moved out. And Barbara herself has changed. No longer the Reed slim young lady. She is now a solid matron with a most conspicuous bulge in the center of her body. For it is precisely 8 months since we last heard her voice.
There. They're gone. Ed, they're gone.
What's that, honey?
The movers have gone. They took the last chair out just now. Oh, I hope they don't break anything.
Oh, sweetie, they won't. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I don't worry about anything anymore.
Do you mean that?
Sometimes I try to worry, because after all, I used to worry all the time. I mean, I worried all my life, but now I can't worry. I've forgotten how. It's being pregnant.
Well, maybe I ought to try it.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you, you know that.
How come?
Being a man, you can't ever be happy the way I'm happy.
I've got my own way.
I feel so complete, so
fulfilled.
I guess so. As though there'd been something missing from the day I was born. And now I've got it. I was so unfinished before, but now I'm complete.
Just you wait till we get settled in the new apartment, baby. Wait till we get the little baby's room decorated and the crib moved in and all that other stuff.
Shouldn't we go over there now?
Well, I suppose we ought to give the movers time to get there.
No, I want to go now. I can't wait.
Yeah, neither can I. Oh, honey.
Isn't it wonderful how we always seem to feel the same way?
Oh, honey, you never have that other feeling anymore, do you?
What feeling?
You know about how Frank died, the plants.
Oh, that.
You don't ever feel that maybe you shouldn't have a baby?
Oh, no.
Well, you know, when you first found out, you weren't too sure.
Oh, but that was 8 months ago. That was before I started feeling the baby grow. Before I knew that it was going to be my baby, my child. And then I knew that if there ever was anything that was right, having this baby was that thing.
And Frank, you ever think about him, about that night?
I'm not sure it ever happened. I mean, I'm not sure it happened the way I said. I think probably you were right. I dreamed the whole thing.
It was an accident, Barbara. Frank and the plants, it was a freak accident.
I guess so. Now, come on, let's go over to the new apartment. Movers ought to be almost there.
Yeah, okay, I'll take the plants down.
Oh, no, I want to do that.
No, honey, no. I don't want you doing things like that. Not now. 8 months, holy cow.
Oh, don't be silly. I know just how they're tied up because I did it myself in the first place. Come on, hand me the scissors. They're right there.
Baby,
cut the string.
I think I ought to.
No, really, they wouldn't like anybody else touching them. I know what you can do. You can get those cartons we saved to pack them in and all that tissue paper. Go on, you do that. That'd be a big help.
Okay, if you say so. Oh, here's the scissors.
Right. Only take a minute.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Now then, here we go. Now, Cleopatra, let's get you down first. No, Michael, you'll have to wait until last because you're so long and strong. It'd be hard to separate you from the others. Oh, gee, it's hard to reach. I don't know if I can... Oh, maybe I should have let Ed take you down. My arms hurt. Isn't that funny? I never had any trouble before. Well, of course, it's being pregnant. It's this baby I'm carrying around with me. Are you a boy? Or are you a girl? Or are you twins? I think you're twins. Wouldn't that be heavenly? An old lady like me having twins. A boy and a girl? Oh, I don't care. I don't care about anything anymore. Except my husband and my child. I don't even care about the plants. Isn't that strange? For so long, so many years, they were my dearest friends. They were my only friends. And now, they just don't matter anymore. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave them. Right here. You don't need them. Got a new place to live. We're going to have a baby. We have each other. We don't need these old plants anymore. They can just stay right here. Ed, I just decided that we don't... Oh, don't. Get away. Get away from me. Ed, it's the plant. They're choking me. Ed, the plant.
I got the cart. Barbara. Oh, my God.
They're choking me.
All right.
The scissors. Quick. I can't breathe.
All right, I've got him. It's all right. It's going to be all right, Barbara. It's all right. Barbara, it's going to be all right. Barbara, are you all right? What'd the doctor say?
He says I'm all right. I can go home.
Did you tell him?
How could I tell him? I made up something. I said I got tangled up in the clothesline. That was the first thing that came into my head. Anyhow, he didn't ask me many questions because he could see that I wasn't really hurt. I was just scared.
Oh, you sure had me scared.
Well, they didn't hurt me much, really, the plants.
Well, why should they hurt you at all? You love those plants.
Ed. While I was taking them down, it was harder than I thought it would be, and my arms got tired.
Well, I told you to let me do it.
And I stopped for a minute, and then I thought, why am I bothering with these plants? Taking them down and carting them to the new place and then putting them up all over again. So I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave them. I'm happy. I've got everything I want. I don't need them. I even think I said that out loud. And they heard me.
Now, Barbara.
But it wouldn't have made any difference. They didn't have to hear me say it out loud. Because they knew what I was thinking.
Honey.
No, you see, you can't live that close to somebody for so long and so close without knowing what she's thinking. And they knew that I was going to go off and leave them. After all our years together, I was going to abandon them. I didn't care anymore what happened to them. And they knew that.
Oh, no, it's just hard to conceive of plants.
They wouldn't have killed me, Ed. They didn't even really mean to hurt me. They were just saying, don't go. Or if you must go, take us with you. You can see that, can't you?
All I know is I came into the room and I saw you with the vines around your throat and you were saying, choking me, get the scissors. Well, I got those scissors so fast. They were right there on the windowsill, and I cut those vines so fast. Boy, you had me worried, baby.
I must have fainted by then.
Yeah, and I picked you up and put you in the car, and you came to before we got to the hospital.
And here I am, and I'm all right.
Yeah. Barbara, you don't suppose I hurt the plants, do you? I just slashed away.
Well, I don't suppose you cut them down very carefully.
Oh, heck no.
Oh, they'll be all right. I'll trim them properly when we get back.
You're not going to leave them there? You're going to take them to the new apartment?
Yes. Yes, I am. I don't know what I was thinking of. How could I just go off and leave the things that I've loved and that have loved me? I can't walk out on them. I forgot that. And they were trying to remind me.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But then you always are.
Well, I'm right about this.
Yeah. Well, let's go, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Cleopatra.
Why, poor Cleopatra?
Well, I knocked her on the floor.
You what?
Yeah, when I was trying to cut you loose, I knocked Cleopatra on the floor, broke the pot and everything.
You mean she's lying there? The pot is broken and she's lying there on the floor with no dirt?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, Ed, come on.
Now, Barbara.
No, hurry up. We've got to get there before she dies.
Look, honey, please, let me do it.
There she is. There's Cleopatra.
Let me do it, honey. You just stay there. Let me
Look out, Ed. They're angry. Ed, they're coming for you.
No, it's all right.
Ed, please get out of the way. Stand back. Let me do it.
You think they're going to let you do it?
Of course they are. Of course they are. Aren't you, my darlings? Aren't you? Ed, hand me that earthen pot, the one right there. No. Your roots haven't been out of the earth for very long, my love. Now, gently. No, I'm not hurting her. See, Michael? I'm being very gentle. I'm putting the good earth in the pot. See, Michael? Ed, get me some water, just a little.
Honey, I don't like leaving you
Don't
here.
be silly. I'll be perfectly all right.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Now, you see, Michael? I'm scooping up every last bit of the nice brown earth, and I'm sifting it through my fingers. See, Annabelle? See, all of you are very carefully with the beautiful, loose brown earth.
Here you are.
Now we put a little water in.
Not very much, because the earth wasn't very dry. There's some plant food on the windowsill.
I got it. Anywhere.
Now, we mix just a little of it into the soil. There we are, like that. And now, Cleopatra, my love, let me pick you up. I'll hold you for a second. And don't be frightened, my dear. No. Put your little roots into the dirt. Very gently, very carefully. And press the dirt down around them. And then we add the rest of the dirt, almost to the top. And we press it down. Not too hard, just enough to make you feel safe. There we are. You see, Michael? Marian. Annabelle, see? She's going to be all right.
You think she really will be?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm going to set her here on the windowsill. And let the sun pour all over her.
Well, shouldn't you start taking down the other plants?
No, not yet. They've had an awful shock.
Yeah, but honey, the furniture movers at the other apartment, they must be going crazy wondering where we are.
Where you go. You take the car and go over there.
What about you?
Come back for me later.
Okay. Like, in an hour?
Well, make it a couple of hours.
Okay, baby.
Baby boats of silver sailing on the sea. Yes, my dear ones, rest, my darling. Sail, baby, sail out across the sea. Only don't forget to sail home again to me. Only don't forget to sail home again to me.
The next time you pass by a plant, stop and look. Make a little bow or tip your hat. And if its leaves flutter and make a sound, listen. It may be trying to tell you something. Nor are we to use living things like old shoes and throw them away when they're worn out or broken with service. Those words were written by a Roman biographer named Plutarch. They are as true today as when he wrote them, almost 2,000 years ago. Our cast included Mercedes McCambridge, Larry Haines, and Ralph Bell. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
You're mine, Claude. You gave me your ring.
But I told you...
Claude, you may play with other women. You may deceive other women. But no man in the history of the world has ever deceived me and lived. I am Venus. I am Aphrodite.
But I only...
Hundreds, thousands, numberless races of men on this planet have worshipped me under numberless names. And now, I choose you. You are mine. You must leave this woman.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by new sugar-free diet 7-Up. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to our world of mystery and the macabre. The Romans called her Venus. The Greeks knew her as Aphrodite. To other ancient peoples, she was Ishtar, Isis, and Astarte. But whatever the name, she was always the same. The mysterious, passionate, voluptuous goddess of love. And sometimes of death.
You belong to her now, Claude. You belong to Venus.
What are you saying?
You made a vow to the statue.
I was only joking. We were all only joking.
Perhaps. But she took it seriously.
But it's only a statue.
It's the statue that stood in the shrine of the Temple of Venus. It is the Venus herself.
But what does she want?
She wants you.
I didn't mean it. You saw it was all in fun.
She wants you, Claude. She wants to love you. And then, as she's done so many times in the past, she'll kill you.
Our mystery drama, The Venus de Ile, was especially adapted from the Prosper Mérimée classic for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dann and stars Norman Rose. It is sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal, and by new sugar-free Diet 7-Up. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Hockey tonight, the Chicago Cougars lost to Toronto in the World Hockey Association 7-6. The Blackhawks lost to Boston in the NHL 4-2.
Who was it that said, "Some men are born wise, others are more fortunate. They're born handsome"? We commend to your attention the young Vicomte Claude Louis de Chabert. At 38, who can count the hearts he has already broken? And who can even guess at the vast amount of golden francs he has already lost at such aristocratic pastimes as baccarat, vingt-et-un, chemin de fer? But this is of small importance to our handsome hero. He has long ago learned that his true fortune is in his faith. And so, on this evening, this intoxicatingly beautiful evening, in the spring of the year 1908, we find our Claude Louis in a luxurious casino on the coast of southern France.
Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And now, mesdames et messieurs, we play. And it is prize rouge, 13, red.
There, you see, it's always rouge when I bet noir. But how can you change horses in midstream? No, I have faith. 50,000 francs on the black.
I'm sorry, Monsieur le Vicomte.
About what?
There can be no more credit.
No credit? Call the manager.
It was the manager himself who gave the order.
Oh, I see.
I am sorry, monsieur.
Save my place at the table.
Come in. Ah, Claude. Have a chair, my boy.
Monsieur Armand, is this how you treat an old friend?
We'll have a glass of champagne. Fabulous flavor.
What is the meaning of
Have
this?
a cigar. Just arrived from Havana.
Have a chair, have a glass of champagne, have a cigar. I'm waiting to hear you offer me what I came in for.
And what's that?
Credit.
Credit. Let me talk to you like a father.
I can see where this is leading. No credit.
Had you not come to see me, I would have gone to see you.
Why?
You owe this establishment 1 million francs.
And?
And there are those who will demand payment. Those who will take drastic steps if payment is not forthcoming within the next few days.
What are you talking about?
My boy, we are now... How can I say this? Well, we are now organized.
Organized?
We are owned by a syndicate, and all debts must be collected. They will be collected by people who are known as Enforcers, I think.
Will you extend me credit or not?
Claude, please listen. The syndicate has been through my books. You are in danger.
You expect me to be frightened by these hoodlums?
Claude, give me some assurances that you can pay, or else please disappear for a while.
I have a document that will not only encourage you to extend credit, but will also satisfy the vultures who seem to be running your establishment.
The document?
I have here a letter from Mademoiselle Eloise Calvert.
The heiress?
Yes, the heiress. The wealthiest young lady in France. In which she says, among other things, "My darling Claude, if you refuse to marry me, I don't think I care to live any longer."
She says that?
Now, I would assume that this should serve as a gilt-edged letter of credit. A document even stronger than the Bank of France.
May I see the letter?
If you insist.
Fine. On the basis of this, your credit is unlimited. But make sure the engagement is announced within 3 or 4 days.
Of course. And perhaps sooner.
Good morning, darling.
Good morning, Eloise.
Oh, it's only you, Henri.
I'm sorry you're disappointed.
Well, you're not bad. And if there were no Claude Louis, you might even do. Henri, have you seen him?
He's probably still fast asleep.
No, he promised to play tennis with me this morning.
No, then he'll be along. Where did you get this amazing statue?
Oh, I don't know. Monsieur Delon, who bought all that art for my father, my dear departed father, advised me to pick it up.
It's fantastic. A bronze 8-foot Venus.
She should be worth more than the one at the Louvre. At least this one has arms.
Why do you place her here, at the entrance to your tennis court?
Why not? We always have a crowd here. Why should she be lonesome?
Do you know that in Greek and Roman times, our very town of Ile had a temple sacred to Venus? Yes, right here.
Well, now, how and why should I know a thing like that?
And this was the great statue of Venus that stood in the shrine of the temple.
Really? The same one?
Look at the air of mystery that surrounds the face. This is a woman of many moods and passions.
Here comes Claude Louis.
Good morning, Eloise.
Hello, darling.
And Cousin Henri.
Have you examined this statue, Claude?
Great big girl, isn't she? She's, magnificent, too.
The goddess of love. The fickle, jealous, unpredictable goddess of love.
Well, I came down to play tennis.
And I am ready for you. You're not really very good this morning.
Well, wait till I warm up.
I'm just toying with you. You can hardly hit the ball. What will you do in the game?
I'll tell you what it is, darling.
An excuse coming up. Make it good.
Well, it's this ring. This ring I'm wearing.
That big, ostentatious, vulgar
Now. It belonged to my father.
Well, I never liked it.
Stop. Stop for a minute. I want to take it off. I can't grip the racket properly. Now, where can I put it? I don't have a pocket in these trousers.
Why don't you just throw the ugly thing away? I'll buy you a new one.
Oh, now, darling, it has a very sentimental value. Oh, I know a good place for it. Excuse me a minute.
Where are you going?
I'll just put it on Miss Venus's finger.
And I thought you came here to put a ring on my finger.
No, Claude, no.
No, what?
Don't do that.
It's what?
I was about to say blasphemy, but that's not really the word.
Oh, Henri, what are you talking about?
But it just doesn't seem right. After all, she is the goddess of love, and you can't...
Yes?
You're offering her your ring, which means you're asking her to marry you.
Do you have any idea what you're saying, Henri?
That is, symbolically, of course.
Eloise, is your cousin always like this?
Well, he's a very deep person.
Claude, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Don't put that ring on her finger.
Why not? There we are. It fits her perfectly. Looks good on her, too.
All right, now let's see if that ring really was what cramped your style, Claude.
Let's see you get that one.
Oh, dear. Nice. But you'll have to do it again.
Watch out.
You were better than last time, but still not good enough.
Well, if all I did was play tennis all day...
Why don't you? Uh-oh. It's going to come down any minute. Let's run for the house. We shouldn't be out here in the lightning.
Hey, Henri, get my ring, will you?
And meet us in the house, Henri. Come on, Claude.
Wait a minute. Oh, he's just standing there.
Darling, it's going to pour any second.
What's the matter with him? Henri! Eloise, is he all right?
Well, let's go see. Henri?
Henri? Henri, what are you staring at?
Your ring, Claude.
Well, what about my ring?
It won't come off her finger.
What?
Try it. Try it yourself. Just try to take it off.
All right, I will.
Oh, please hurry. We'll be drenched.
See what I mean, Claude?
What does he mean, Claude?
This ring, my ring, for some reason, I can't seem to get it off her finger.
What on earth are you talking about? Just take it off.
Well, it seems to be stuck.
Why?
I don't know.
Wait. Why are we just standing around in the rain?
Why won't this ring come off? I can't even move it.
Well, you worry about it. I'm going into the house before I get soaked.
Henri, why can't I get this ring off? Why?
Dinner will be ready in a few minutes. The chef went out of his way for Claude. Oh, Henri, why doesn't he ask me to marry him?
Who? The chef?
No, idiot, Claude.
He will. After all, he's penniless.
Oh, now that's not worthy of you.
I'm sorry.
Where is Claude?
He's out on the tennis court.
Now?
It seems he still can't get his ring off that goddess's finger.
I don't believe it.
Do you want to go see?
In this rain? No, thank you. Oh, Claude. Oh, darling, look at you. You're dripping wet.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll go right upstairs and change.
What were you doing outside?
Well, I know it sounds silly, but I was trying to get my ring off her finger.
And did you?
No.
There could be a kind of secret spring, and it snapped, and it sort of curved her finger around it.
I don't know what to do about it. Is it all right if I just leave it there?
Oh, I never liked that ring. If the statue wants it that badly, let her have it. Did you enjoy dinner, darling?
Oh, it was delicious. Pierre outdid himself.
How would you know? You scarcely touched your food.
Eloise, if you must know, it's that silly statue.
Can't we forget her finally, I hope?
Henri, how do you account for it?
You wouldn't believe a word I say.
Oh, well, say it.
In the old days, she was the center of an adoring, worshiping populace right here. Every day she was presented with gifts. And then suddenly, it stopped. The old religion had died. And for nearly 2,000 years, she's been neglected. Suddenly, once again, she is given a gift. You can imagine that this one is more precious to her than anything in her history. And so she refuses to give it up.
Claude, darling, of course, Henry is crazy, but he's only my cousin by marriage, so it doesn't run in the family.
Well, it's rather late. I think I'll turn in. Good night, all.
Good night.
Yes, good night.
Of course, you received my letter.
That's why I came.
I love you, Claude.
I love you, too.
But I want you to ask me.
Oh, yes. Yes, I will.
Well, I'm waiting.
Louise,
Claude, why are you so pale?
I don't know.
Are you ill?
I feel very strange.
How?
As if I hear music.
Music? But there's no...
It's an unusual kind of music. I've never heard anything like it before.
Claude, you belong to me. You have given me your ring. You belong to me. You belong to me.
What did Claude do? Did he really awaken this sleeping goddess after so many centuries? Is there a goddess? Well, you can look at it any way you like, but the basic essential fact remains. The ring won't come off her finger. And I can tell you right now, it doesn't come off in Act 2 either, which you will hear when I return shortly. Well, to begin with, there's a huge bronze statue of Venus. And because a rather large ring was interfering with the way Claude Louis de Chabert gripped his tennis racket, he took off the ring. And because the statue offered a convenient resting place, he set the ring on its finger. And now it develops the ring can't come off. And the statue seems to have ideas of her own.
You belong to me, Lord Louis. You are mine. No other woman can ever have you.
Claude? Claude?
Yes?
Darling, something's wrong.
I have a feeling...
I'm going to call the doctor.
Oh, no.
But you're ill.
No, I'm not ill.
Darling, please, get some rest. I'm sure you'll feel better in the morning.
Yes, I'm sure of it. I'll just sit here for a few minutes and smoke a pipe.
All right. Good night, Claude.
Good night.
My beloved Claude Louis. My beloved.
Who is that? Who's there?
Claude, you will come with me. You will live with the gods. You will live like a god. Leave this house. Leave this foolish mortal woman. And come with me.
No.
Claude. I am the goddess of love. I am also the goddess of death.
No. Let me alone.
Well, good morning, darling.
Good morning.
I had to appear to prepare an especially delicious breakfast, so I do hope you're hungry.
Mademoiselle Eloise. Monsieur Claude?
What is it, René?
Monsieur Claude, you asked me to see about the ring.
What ring? Oh, that ring.
Were you able to...
The ring just won't come off. It's like fused to the metal.
Could that be possible somehow?
No, sir. It is not possible unless you welded it on there, which you didn't.
Well, then what's to be done?
Nothing. Unless you want to cut the finger off.
Oh, no.
I am so tired of all this chatter about that silly ring.
Oh, thank you, Renee. I appreciate what you've done.
Yes, Monsieur Claude. Good day. I tried my best.
I'm sorry I bought that ridiculous statue.
She's hardly ridiculous.
And now you're starting to talk like Henri.
Well, I'm sorry.
I keep asking myself, why did I have to fall in love with you?
Because I'm charming and handsome.
No, well, the sensible thing would have been to fall in love with Henri.
Darling, I'll go up and change and meet you at the tennis court. Listen, whoever you are, whatever you are, listen. I put that ring on your finger the way you place a hat on a rack or a coat on a hook. I wasn't thinking of... Well, I certainly didn't mean anything by it. So, if this is all a practical joke, fine, the joke's on me. But if you really are a goddess, and you're taking this seriously, what would you want with me, anyhow?
You are my beloved.
I'm trying to explain. I must marry Eloise Calvert. I have no choice.
I am your bride. I will share you with no mortal woman. I will see you dead first.
I didn't know you were in the habit of talking to yourself.
Oh, Henri, what are you doing here?
Eloise sent me. Her lawyer has just arrived from Paris. He has papers for her to sign.
Oh.
In anticipation of your coming marriage, she's having considerable property signed over to you.
Oh.
Something wrong with you this morning?
Well, yes, well, it's that damn statue.
Claude, I shouldn't say this.
Shouldn't say what?
I have good advice for you, even if it goes against my own interest. Please, forget about that statue.
Well, forget?
This whole affair about the ring and the mysterious fact that it won't come off is starting to frighten Eloise.
Frightened?
She doesn't like to be frightened.
Well, who does?
She's been fantastically rich all her life. She's always had everything she wanted by snapping her fingers. Except you.
Well, she's got me.
No, not quite yet. Instinctively, you know how to treat her. You don't fall at her feet the way the rest of us do. You maintain a kind of reserve. That's because you know all about women.
You flatter me.
Even now, you're playing her to perfection. True, it's a formality, but she wants that ritual declaration of love, that beautifully stated proposal of marriage, and you delay it exquisitely.
But I came here to propose.
You've already proposed to one goddess.
Stop that, will you?
The goddess of love. And now you intend to propose to another.
Eloise? A goddess?
Of course. The goddess of wealth and power. How fortunate. Each of these goddesses wants you as her consort.
Oh, Henri, sometimes I wonder about your sanity.
That's just another way of saying that you wonder about your own. Why won't the ring come off?
Well, there must be an explanation.
Yes, there is. You're the fiancé of Venus. She won't give you up.
I mean a rational explanation.
It makes sense to me. And it also makes sense to you. You don't have to admit it.
Well, I came here to propose to Eloise.
Why don't you do it?
I will. I'll take her out to dinner tonight, and I'll ask her to marry me.
What a lovely place.
A bit off the beaten track, darling.
And the food.
I wanted a perfect setting.
For what?
For the most important statement of my life.
Flatterer.
Of course I'm a flatterer. And you love flattery.
Doesn't every woman? Oh, I can see we're going to be a very straightforward couple.
Yes. Eloise,
Yes?
I want to ask you to...
I'm waiting.
You're mine, Claude. You gave me your ring.
But I told you...
Claude, you may play with other women. You may deceive other women. But no man in the history of the world has ever deceived me and lived. I am Venus. I am Aphrodite. I am Astarte. I am Isis. I am Ishtar.
But I only...
Hundreds, thousands, numberless races of men on this planet have worshipped me under numberless names. And now, I choose you. I choose you, Claude Louis. You belong to me. You are mine. You must leave this woman.
Claude.
I must be...
Darling, something is wrong.
No, I just feel very...
Very what? See, you can't say. You don't know. But I know.
Do you?
I spoke to Dr. Legrand. He told me all about men like you.
Men like me?
Yes. It has to do with the fear of becoming a husband.
But I have no fear of...
Yes, you do. Oh, you do. Way down, deep down in the subconscious where you're unaware of it. You're giving up the old, wild freedom. And you are just not sure you want to...
Oh, but I am...
Well, I intend to be patient. I love you.
Good evening, Claude.
Oh, well, good evening, Monsieur Armand.
I was dining here with some associates, and I thought I would come over to pay my respects.
Oh, yes. Darling, may I present Monsieur Armand?
I am honored, mademoiselle.
Enchanté.
Well, Claude, I had expected...
Yes?
Apropos of our last discussion, I had expected a settlement or a statement.
Yes, I know.
As a matter of fact, my associates were saying just now, why do you suppose we have not heard...
Reassure your associates for me, monsieur, that everything is in order.
Of course. So happy to have made your acquaintance, mademoiselle.
Darling, what was he talking about?
Oh, business proposition.
Claude, Monsieur Armand, he's sitting at that table. Look, over to the right, you see?
Oh, well, what about it?
Well, look at those two men at the table with him. He called them his business associates.
I suppose they are.
Well, then I cannot imagine what sort of business he could be engaged in. Those two men are the worst-looking thugs I've ever seen in my life.
Now, darling, you shouldn't judge by appearance. They could be tender-hearted, church-going, devoted family men.
Oh, no. Hired killers would be more likely. Darling, take me home. I'm frightened.
And she has every right to be frightened. We know why the ruthless and determined men want 1 million francs from our friend Claude Louis. If he marries Eloise, well, no problem. However, Claude Louis is becoming more and more convinced that he is already betrothed to the jealous goddess Venus herself, in which case it would be fatal to jilt her. Decisions. The choice, however, must be made, and it will be when I return shortly with Act 3.
This is WBBM, Chicago News Radio 78.
How would you like to be in a position to choose between a goddess of earthly power and the goddess of heavenly love? You say you'd adore such a dilemma? Think again. Or better still, listen closely to the fate of the Vicomte Claude Louis de Chalbert. He happens to be in that precise predicament.
Good morning, Claude.
Morning, Henri.
You seem to have quite an appetite this morning.
What do they say? The condemned man ate a hearty meal.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. Have you seen Eloise?
Oh, she's still asleep.
Well, that's not like her.
She's worried about you.
Well, everything's all right. We can be married tomorrow if she wants.
Oh? You've decided?
Of course.
And what about the other one?
What other one?
As if you don't know.
I'm not sure I understand.
The Venus, your own Venus deal.
Oh, that. Let me tell you, I didn't sleep last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It was good for me. Henri, I did some thinking.
And?
And I called myself every stupid name I could remember.
Why?
If I keep this up, this groundless, mindless, idiotic fear or apprehension, if I keep imagining she talks to me, well, I can very well lose Eloise.
Eloise is very much in love with you.
Love. Love is an illusion. You fall in, you fall out. I can read women. This ring business is beginning to irritate her. Worse, it's starting to bore her.
I've been warning you.
What really happened? I needed a resting place for a ring, so I absently placed it on the finger of a statue. A lifeless metal statue. You follow me?
You're telling the story.
Due to some phenomenon that probably has a rational explanation, if we ever find it, the ring seems to adhere to the finger of the statue. Is that true?
Obviously, the ring's still there.
But that's all that happened.
Who said anything else?
You did.
Me?
You. You're the one who invested the statue with all kinds of magic and mysterious qualities.
Well, I was merely stating some facts.
Oh, yes, of course. But you have an ulterior motive. If you could get me upset, fire my imagination, perhaps, something might happen, and you could have Eloise for yourself.
I'm not aware that I've tried to upset you.
No, not consciously, perhaps. Well, in any event, it's all over. And I certainly will not jeopardize my chance of becoming a billionaire because of an overactive imagination. Do you understand me?
Yes. But I wish you'd be honest with yourself. You said you absently placed the ring on her finger. Is that really true? Or did you do it as a joke? Or did you, as millions of men before you, actually fall in love with her?
Oh, no, Henri. We're not having any more of that. Well, old girl, I must say it was exciting. It was even fun for a while. Venus deal. Oh, you must have been something in your day. All woman. Oh, no. No, madame. I'm wise to these little tricks of the mind. Not this time. Not again.
Claude.
Of course, Claude. But you're in my head. You're part of my imagination.
Claude, you belong to me.
I belong to no one. I belong to myself.
Foolish Claude. Do you think you can fight me?
You're just an image in my own brain.
Claude, you don't love Eloise. You're in love with love. Claude, I am love.
I don't believe.
Yes, Claude, you believe. You believe. The love I offer you is beyond dreams, beyond imagination.
No, I'm not listening.
A glorious love.
No, please.
Don't be frightened. Come with me. Live with me. Live like a god. A god. Live on love.
No.
You asked me, Claude. You gave me your ring. You wanted me. You always wanted me. Say it.
No.
Say it, Claude. Say the truth.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Then, come. Come with me.
Now.
Now.
That's it. That's how it happened. That's how it happened. I know how it happened.
Lord! What are you doing standing out here and yelling like a maniac?
It's another electrical storm. We'd better get inside.
Oh, yes. Come, Claude.
Now I know.
What do you know?
I know why the ring is stuck on her finger.
Oh, do you?
Is it so important after all?
Oh, yes, it's important. Do you remember what Rene said? He said it looked as if the ring is fused to the metal. Well, look closely. Doesn't it appear that way?
Well, what's the difference?
He also said it was impossible unless you welded it on. And, of course, you didn't.
No, I didn't. But someone else did.
Who?
Perhaps not a who, but a what.
What did happen?
We were playing tennis. I took the ring off, placed it on her finger.
Well, we already know all that. Tell us the rest of it.
You know the rest of it, too.
Claude.
Of course you do. We kept playing tennis, and then suddenly there was a peal of thunder, a flash of lightning. Well, don't you see?
No.
The lightning, it must have struck the statue in such a way as to have fused the ring to her finger.
Well, that's impossible.
No, it's not impossible. It could have happened.
Well, then it answers the question and finally settles the problem.
It's the only way we can account for it.
Unless?
No, Henri, no more of these unlesses.
So now, can we forget about it?
Absolutely, my darling. Eloise, marry me.
What?
I said marry me.
But I was expecting...
You were expecting a romantic speech, poetry, sweet music, sparkling wine.
Yes.
Shall I try again?
Oh, no. No, I accept.
May I be the first to offer congratulations?
Of course, Henri. You fought a good fight.
But the better man won.
Eloise, my darling, may I ask for a wedding present now?
Oh, anything.
Good. Could you get rid of this statue?
My rival?
Well?
Of course. We'll donate her to a museum.
No, I mean get rid of her.
How?
Have her destroyed, melted down.
Oh?
But Claude, she's priceless.
Well, I'll have it taken care of tomorrow.
Can it be done today?
Yes, Rene will be back in the morning and...
Well, I suppose it'll be all right.
He'll take care of her. First thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
He said. Keep it.
Toast to the happy couple.
Congratulations. Long life. Thank you all. Claude and I are so happy. Please, everybody, eat, drink, dance. Help us enjoy this glorious occasion.
You look beautiful, my dear.
I always dreamed of a night like this. Are you happy?
Oh, yes.
Completely?
Yes.
It's odd, you look so thoughtful.
Do I?
Very.
I'm only thinking of us.
Only of us?
My darling, in this whole wide world, there are only the two of us.
But, Claude, is something the matter? You're frowning.
I wasn't aware.
You're not ill?
No, of course not.
You don't look very comfortable.
Oh, well, perhaps it's a bit close in here. I may just need a breath of fresh air.
Oh, I'll go with you.
No, dear. We both can't leave our guests. I'll just step outside for a moment. It'll do me good.
Claude Louis.
No.
You fool.
I won't believe it.
What won't you believe?
I won't believe you are there.
You have dared to trifle with the heart of a goddess.
I don't know what you're saying.
I offered you my love. I would have given myself to you.
I've got to fight this. I am not mad. I've got to fight.
Of all the uncounted millions since the very beginning of the human race, I offered myself to you.
I accept this as an hallucination.
Fool! Look at me. Look at me.
No. It can't be. It can't be. You're human. You're flesh and blood.
God. You're a woman.
Yes, a woman. A woman spurned. A woman scorned.
I didn't know. How was I to know?
I told you.
Forgive me. Please, forgive me.
Forgive you. Come to my arms. Embrace me. Know what you might have had. And know what you have lost forever.
I love you. I love you. Please. You're crushing me.
You love me. But now you can only die for the love of you.
Oh, please. Let me love you. Let me go. No. Help.
Claude, where are you? Eloise is worried about...
Claude? Oh, no.
Don't come close, Eloise. Don't look, Eloise, don't. The statue, it fell on him. Yes. He's dead. The statue just crushed him.
Oh, look.
What is it?
Look at the ring. That ring.
I don't see the ring.
Look.
Where?
On Claude's finger.
Oh.
The ring is back on Claude's finger.
Well, you have a choice. You can believe that the goddess Venus fell in love with Claude, became angry when he jilted her, and killed him. Or you can believe that he went out for a walk, and the rain had softened the statue's foundation, and it just fell on him. There were also the enforcers. All the ingredients are there for a provocative stew. Use which you like, and stir to your taste. I'll be back shortly. The tale you just heard was concerned primarily with love. And why not? Love, like murder, is filled with suspense, chills, thrills, fears, uncertainty. And even better, there is a body of evidence to prove that love is far more healthy and satisfying than murder. And so, if ever you feel driven, why, just fall in love instead. Our cast included Norman Rose, Joan Lovejoy, Evie Juster, Dan Ocko, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
What was that about a bell, Denny?
Search me, Mavourneen. When I came downstairs last night after I took you up to bed, Brian was by the window. He insisted he could hear a little bell ringing somewhere, but I couldn't hear it.
What kind of a bell was that?
Like it was on an animal, he said. Not like a cow, but more, say, like a goat.
The Lord and all his saints be praised.
Not goat. What is it, Sheila?
We should call him back. He should get out of Ireland.
Now, what are you getting all riled up about now, honey?
I told you he was holding the shadow of death in his palm. Now I know I made no mistake. There's no bell in this town he could have heard, like you said, except one.
What?
The one that's only heard by him it sounds for, and I know it for sure. 'Twas the death bell.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of terrifying imagination, to the fear you can hear. There is a green land called the Emerald Isle, where stardust dapples shining lakes that sparkle against blue mountains which fall away to winding bays. But there are darker sides to Ireland, currents that run deep, a wasting, bitter civil war in the north, and everywhere, lurking behind the shamrock and beneath the laughter, a dark world of legend, of banshees and warlocks, of voices on the wind against which the traveler should stop his ears, or the sound of the death bell.
Well, if you won't read the tea leaves for Brian, she'll at least give a look at his palm.
Oh, where's Denny?
No, come on, cousin-in-law. I claim a visitor's privilege. What's the sense of a long trip to Erin to visit family if I don't get some special treatment? Which hand?
Denny,
Oh, she's only shy. You're right-handed, aren't you, Brian?
Yes.
The left hand is what God gave you.
Here. How's it look?
You were well rewarded.
And the other hand?
That's the one which shows what you make of the gifts God gave you.
And?
Holy Mary herself. Didn't I know it? It's a hand I can't read. 'Tis marked by the shadow of death.
Our mystery drama, The Death Bell, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Michael Tolan. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Since time immemorial, man has sought to trace the future in the lines of the palm. Can it be read there? Can a future be read from the stars, or from tarot cards, or in a crystal ball? The best answer always is, if you truly believe. As in spite of herself, it would appear that Sheila Doyle does.
The moment I clapped eyes on Denny's cousin from the States, Brian Mackin, there was a bogle tugging at my skirts. And the one look in his hand ran the blood in me cold, for I never saw a shadow plainer.
Brian?
Oh, yes, Denny.
Well, what are you doing over by the window?
I'm trying to see where that bell came from.
What bell?
It's been ringing ever since you went up with Sheila, don't you? Well, that's funny.
What?
It stopped. You didn't hear it?
Nope.
Well, maybe you're just used to it. Don't you have some kind of a bell around here?
Well, the church?
No, not a church bell. Something much smaller, like, on an animal, maybe.
Well, there aren't any animals around.
Oh, well, maybe I'm just hearing things after that scare Sheila threw into me.
Oh, look, Brian, I'm sorry about that. Sheila's as level-headed as they come about everything except some of the old country superstitions. She wasn't kidding, you know. She really believes in a lot of this.
Well, forget it, Denny. I'm not worried about me. I was only concerned about Sheila. She looked all shook up.
Oh, she was embarrassed. I think she felt she'd made a fool of herself. I don't think she'll be able to face you again tonight, but by morning, she'll cook you a breakfast that'll stick to your ribs. You are going to stay, huh?
Oh, I can take the car and run down to the local inn.
No, sir, not on your life. My cousin comes all the way from the States. I don't let you get away till we do some catching up.
Catching up?
Yes. I want to hear all about your wife.
My wife?
Yes. Sheila and I are so sorry she didn't come along with you.
She wasn't feeling herself at the last moment.
Yes, I know, so you said.
You see, this isn't so much a trip. It's more a sort of pilgrimage.
A what?
I want to find Carrie Kleiner. I want to see it for myself.
If it exists.
What do you mean?
Well, Brian, I always understood it was just a family legend.
You mean to say you've been here in Ireland now for 3 years and you haven't tried to look it up?
Man, it's near 250 miles from here, and I haven't a car. Anyways, it wasn't my side of the family.
Well, it was mine. Or should have been. At the very least from my mother's side. You know that.
Well, I honestly don't. All I know is that my mother used to ramble on when she got older about how there was royalty in the blood somewhere far back and the ancestors lived in a castle in the north.
Carrig Kleiner. It was a castle.
Huh?
The Carrigs were said to be in the direct line of descent from Brian Boru himself. And it was a family custom to name the residence for the family name and for the wife who reigned over it. My great-great-grandmother, Kleiner, was married to the last of the line, Lord Carrig.
Your great-great-grandfather?
That's one of the things I'd like to find out. See, I think he was.
You think?
Lord Carrig didn't. He killed Kleiner and threw the man he said was her lover from the balcony over the sea to be smashed to death on the rocks below. And he sent my great-grandfather to be brought up by his wife's family, the Mackens.
Your great-grandfather? You mean Carrig's son?
He refused to recognize him. Claimed he was illegitimate.
I see. Well, now, look, looking for an old lost castle is as good a way as any of spending a vacation. You'll get a chance to see a good bit of Ireland on the way. Now, come on. Let's go get your bag out of the car, and I'll show you to your room. For the first time in our marriage, I found myself getting a little annoyed with Sheila as I walked Brian to the car. There was that vague kind of family connection between us, you right off as cousins, but mostly what we were was old friends and classmates. Now, with Sheila's superstitions jogging my imagination, I was uneasy with Brian. A feeling, thank the Lord, that a few minutes in the soft Irish night blew away.
Oh, it's good to be alive on a night like this. It makes me think of...
What, Brian?
Commencement. The end of the term, anyway. or after the last ball game of the season. Tired, but loose, you remember?
Well, for pitchers, maybe. Catchers with old football knees took longer to unwind. Well, so, how's the old rat race?
Advertising? Oh, it still goes round and round. Hamsters on a cage wheel. How's the writing?
Slow, but sure. And I make an honest buck cutting peat to keep myself in shape.
You're a happy man.
Oh, what more could I ask for? Wait till you see your namesake tomorrow.
Little Brian. How soon will he be 2?
About the time his little sister comes to join him, 6 months or so.
Oh, hey, you're having another?
Yes.
Well, that's solid, man. It's solid.
Well, you know I always liked kids. Nothing like having your own, though. And how about you, senior citizen?
What does that mean?
Well, you have been married longer than Sheila and me. When are you and Gloria going to have yours?
As a matter of fact, Gloria got pregnant 7 months ago.
Oh, and you're trying to keep it secret. So that's why she didn't come along, huh?
That's one of the reasons. But come on, I can't keep you away from your wife any longer. Here, just let me get my gear and we can hit the sun.
Oh, there's no hurry. For my money, we could sit up all night and shoot the breeze.
Well, that'd suit me if I didn't have a long journey ahead of me tomorrow.
Oh, I see. You're still determined to go chasing rainbows.
I heard the door close when they left the house, and had gone to the window to watch Denny and Brian talk at the car. I couldn't hear the words, but at least Brian's arms slung around Denny's shoulder eased my mind enough to make me go to bed. Still and all, even with the soothing sound of their voices rumbling below and their laughter, it was long before I fell into an uneasy sleep. Danny?
Oh, I'm sorry. Shh, Sheila, shh. Darling, go to sleep.
It's all right. I was half on to waking. Turn the light on.
No need. I'm all undressed. Just come into bed.
And did you get Brian settled?
Yes. He's snoring already. By the time I closed up and looked in on little Brian, he was dead to the world. Darling, what's wrong? You shivered.
Oh, 'twas maybe a hair limped over my grave. Hold me.
Who needs to be asked? Sheila, you're wrong about Brian.
What way?
We've had a long talk, just like old times. I never felt closer to him.
Well, I know you've missed him since you came away here.
We were always more like brothers than cousins. Well, I'm not saying he isn't tense and all wound up, but that's old stuff to me, Akushla.
Oh, you're making to be a real Irishman again.
Well, next to you because of you, and grateful I am.
Are you for real, Danny?
Don't you know? Oh, Sheila, I used to be all tied up in knots like Brian, and that's all it is, you see.
Well, I hope you're right.
You haven't heard the best news yet.
What?
Well, you're not the only one that's carrying a heart beneath your own. Gloria's expecting.
Brian's wife? When?
Before you. That's why she didn't come along this trip.
Well, that's good news, Denny. I want to be happy for your friend, your cousin, your brother, almost.
Well, so you can be. You can be. Sheila. What did you think you saw in Brian's palm?
Don't ask me. First of all, because I have no words to tell you. And second, I'm praying to sweet Mary to forgive me. For I'm hoping it was himself was only giving me a warning not to meddle in the Lord's business.
The night is quiet outside, except for the tinkle of that far-off bell. There's a kind of peace. I had to stop here with Denny, touch normal life, if only for a moment. I will not think back, and tomorrow must wait till I find it. I know what it will bring to so many people. I wonder what it will bring to me, Brian Mackin. The last thing I hear is the bell, lulling me to sleep. Well, that does it. All set for the road.
No, I wish you didn't have to go so soon.
So do I.
Will you stop by then to see us on your way back?
I don't know if I'll be coming this way, Sheila.
Oh, try to make it. And Brian.
Yes?
The farther north you get, particularly beyond Sligo, hug the coastline all the way. Please, don't go near the border.
Ulster, you mean?
There's still a lot of trouble.
I wish you'd forget the whole thing.
Except I won't.
Well, man, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. And if there ever was a Carrick-Clana, it's probably nothing but ruins by now.
If there ever was one, I'll find it. And I think I will.
And if you should, what would it prove?
I don't know.
Goodbye, Brian. Come again.
I'll try. Bye, Denny, old pal.
I'll only say au revoir.
And it's glad I am to have met you, and forgive me for last night.
The gypsy's warning?
I don't know what came over me.
Think nothing of it.
Well, so long, chum, and drive carefully. I hope you had a good night's sleep.
With the good company and the good air, what else? Even the little bell I finally got used to. And off I went like a log. So here goes. Hail and farewell.
What was that about a bell, Denny?
Search me, Mavourneen. When I came downstairs last night after I took you up to bed, Brian was by the window. He insisted he could hear a little bell ringing somewhere, but I couldn't hear it.
What kind of a bell was that?
Like it was on an animal, he said. Not like a cow, but more, say, like a goat.
The Lord and all his saints be praised.
No, what is it, Sheila?
We should call him back. He should get out of Ireland.
Now, what are you getting all riled up about now, honey?
I told you he was holding the shadow of death in his palm. Now I know I made no mistake. There's no bell in this town he could have heard, like you said. Except one.
What?
The one that's only heard by him it sounds for, and I know it for sure. 'Twas the death bell.
Ole, 'tis dark, and I heard the death bell, and I dare not go out for gold or for fee. So runs the old Gaelic folk belief, that death sounds the warning of his coming by a ringing in the ears. Is Brian Mackin really marked for death? And if so, how soon? And how? We will return shortly with Act 2. 450 miles is a short day's drive as we reckon it in the good old US of A. But through the length of Ireland, stopping more and more in the last 50 miles to ask the still unanswered question, do you know of a castle in these parts called Carrickclena? It's a long, long trip that at last has brought Brian Mackin to a little bridge across a valley stream. Stopping there to eat the lunch Sheila put up for him before he left, he has scarcely finished it as twilight falls. Then, as he dozes for a moment, back against a tree...
What? Pull him up! Pull him up!
I can't control him!
Hold on, don't get thrown!
Oh, boy! Oh, easy! Hold up there! Hold up!
All right. Easy, boy. Easy. All right. Are you all right, ma'am?
Yes, and I'm much beholden to you, sir.
Oh, it's my pleasure. What happened?
Something frightened my horse. I lost control. May I have the reins, sir?
All right, now, stay, boy, stay. Here you are.
Thank you, Mr.
Brian Mackin.
How do you do? I am the Lady Clena Carrick.
What?
I said I'm Lady Carrick.
Of Carrickclena?
Well, naturally.
Then it does exist.
I should hope so. I was just on my way home.
Where is it?
Just across the bridge and over the hill. Oh, now that I've regained my composure. On my soul, you do look familiar. I didn't catch your name.
Brian Mackin.
Oh, no. No. You must be mad to try to intercept me here. Run, Brian. Run for your life. Reach him. Get.
Wait a minute, my lady.
If you value your life, stay away from me.
I am frozen at her sudden flight. Then suddenly I find myself running after her, laboring for breath over the last burst to the crest of the hill. Oh, damn, the light going. But where? She couldn't have just disappeared into thin air. But she had. In the lowering darkness, I can see the long sweep of the countryside down to the rocks and sea cliffs. And there is no sign of horse or rider, or of any destination they might be bound for, nor any road for a horse to follow, much less my modern car. For the moment, I realize I must return to my car and seek some lodging for the night.
Danny, is that you?
Well, who else were you expecting, Sheila?
Oh, darling, I'm that glad to see you. It's late you are.
Oh, we cut a few extra squares tonight as long as the light was with us. Here, what is it, little bird? You're all aflutter.
It's Brian's on my mind. Oh, you'll laugh at me again, I suppose. But as I was laying our little one down with the sun just gone over the hill, I thought I heard him calling, Clena, Clena.
Oh, now, Sheila, what's got into you?
I wish I knew. I only know somehow we should never have let Brian go off for the north. Something terrible is going to happen to him.
And if there is, what could we do to stop it?
Well, we should try.
Would you have me follow him on Shank's mare? How fast do you think I could walk it?
Well, you could borrow the McFadden's car or Seamus' motorcycle.
And if I did, where would I head for?
Oh, don't fault me, darling, or make me the fool. It's just a feeling comes over me and I can't help it. I want to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Sheila, now please, stop worrying about Brian. If anyone ever knew how to take care of himself, that's the guy. I said it with authority because I meant it, or I thought I meant it. Or I tried to mean it because I wanted to reassure Sheila. The truth is, I was shaken again. I'd been 3 years living in Ireland, long enough to fall under all of her spells, even the black ones. And I'd have given anything to know where Brian was at that moment. And what he was doing.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Sorry. Closing time is posted.
I wasn't looking for a drink as much as I was for accommodations tonight.
Well, now, as to that...
I'm willing to pay well for it.
An American, is it? Well, for that much, I suppose we could be after finding your room and a bite to sup.
And perhaps a little information?
We're not for doing much talking around these parts, in particular to strangers. What would you want to know?
Well, something very simple, I hope. Would either of you know where I could find a place called Carrigclena?
Carrigclena? Yes, no. What would be after bringing it to these parts looking for the likes of Carrigclena?
Well, till late this afternoon, only a dim hope of finding it after all these years. For private reasons.
Oh, and what would the private reasons be?
Family ones. My great-grandfather was born there.
Was he now? And what was it that late this afternoon gave you the good hope of finding Carrigclena?
I ran into someone who lives there.
Who lives there? Paddy?
Will you hold your tongue, Mick? And who would you have met that said they was from the castle?
A very beautiful woman. A girl, actually, who said she was the Lady Clena Carrig.
Oh, the Lord and his saints preserve us.
The Lady Clena? Where was this then?
For about 5 miles or so north of here. There's a road goes winding down to a little bridge and then goes up a rise on the other side, but sort of peters out.
Oh, that's the old Ballybrig across the Scalanore.
Did you drive your car across that bridge?
No, I stopped this side of it because the going was getting so rough.
Sure, it's lucky you didn't drive on it. It might have carried away with you.
That bridge has been condemned for anything but foot travel as long as I can remember.
But why?
Because it doesn't lead to anywhere anymore.
It leads to Carrigclena somehow.
How would you know that?
Because the lady was bound for there on her horse.
Ah? Was it a big bay mare with a mane as white as snow?
Yes, that's the one.
And the woman? How was she dressed?
Why, she was in sort of a green velvet dress with a big hat, like an old-fashioned riding habit, you'd say.
Oh, Mary bless us.
And the good Lord save us all. Old-fashioned it is for sure. Well, the Lady Clena has been dead these 100 years and more.
No, this was a young woman.
She was only past her 21st year when she died. That was no real woman you saw this afternoon, stranger. That was her ghost.
But I talked to her.
Did you now, then? What you saw was never real. And you can take that as gospel.
Well, perhaps. I hadn't eaten all day, and I did take a nap under a tree.
And 'twas twilight, when all fancies begin.
We'll let it go at that, anyway. But Carrigclena, is that just fancy, too?
Well, now, as to that...
Must you always put your oar in, Mick? I'm talking to the gentleman here, Mr...
Mackin. Brian Mackin.
It is a good Irish name.
I mentioned that my family came from Ireland.
So you did. And at least you've had the sense God gave you to come back. I'm Paddy Flynn, and the little runt here is Mickey Mahan.
The top of the evening to you. Is it back you are to stay, Mr. Markin?
That depends on what I find at Carrigclena.
It's little you'll find there. Deserted and empty, and blown by the winds for a century. It's not but a ruin. Not worth the effort to go by it.
And sometimes at nightfall, there's a woman's voice that'll call, come away, and ill betide the man who listens.
Well, just the same, I want to see Carrigclena. Can you guide me there?
Not by night. I wouldn't stir out by night for all the gold in a leprechaun's hoard. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. It's time we were all to bed. Come, I'll show you your room, Mr. Mackin.
Do you think he's from the police?
I don't think so, but I'm taking the chances.
Sure, and what are you doing there?
I'm making Mr. Mackin a little nightcap, as he requested. Only, 'twill be a little stronger than he expected.
How is that, Paddy?
Sure, I'm giving him a little extra dividend. Your namesake, as you might say.
Who will that be at all?
Mickey Pin.
I never heard tell of him.
Well, now, that's because he emigrated to Chicago, USA, long before your time and mine. But he gave his name to what's in this little bottle here.
Well, it looks like no more than bog water.
It'll make you sleep a deal sounder. Now then, you'll take this drink up to him, whilst I go arrange for the truck.
It is a good thing we have a full moon to work with this night.
To work?
Isn't it obvious the guns are no longer safe at Carricklena? We'll have to have them up and away over the border by morning before our American gets to nosing about.
We're not going by the castle by the dead of night.
How else?
But she'll be walking again by the full moon. You heard Mr. Mackin saw her abroad and scarce before dark.
What kind of soldier are you, Mick, that starts at shadows? Now, let's have no more nonsense out of you. And away up with the drink to Mr. Mackin.
I look at my watch. It's just after midnight. The nightcap is untasted on the table beside my bed. I don't trust it. I don't trust a lot of things. But where to get rid of it? A vagrant memory drifts across my mind of jokes among old country people. A quick look under the bed, and there is the receptacle. It's a matter of a moment to empty the glass in it, and none too soon. I can hear stealthy footsteps approaching.
Don't use the curse, Mick, unless there's trouble.
If there is, I'll put him to sleep myself.
Mr. Mackin? Mr. Mackin? I think he's away. Follow me.
He's dead to the world.
We'll check that out. He's drunk it.
Will it keep him quiet long enough?
8 to 10 hours. And even when he wakes, he'll not want to leave his bed. Now come away, man. We've much to do.
Lying on my bed, snoring, pretending to be asleep, I have listened to everything. But the fall of that heavy lock tells me once and for all, I am a prisoner. But as I wait for them to leave the house, I know that nothing will keep me from Carricklena. I have an appointment there that's been waiting 100 years. And even now, in the still of the night, I can hear the far-off tinkle of that bell and a voice crying.
Come away! Bryna! Come away! Back to
Carricklena! Two sounds tempt Brian Mackin to venture into a night made bright by moonlight, but shadowed by dangers, both physical and supernatural. What draws this man inexorably to an appointment with the past? Is the death that Sheila foresaw in his hand something that he seeks or fails to realize approaches? I will return shortly with Act 3.
This is WBBM Chicago News Radio 78.
What is this man, Brian Mackin? 28, successful advertising man. What drives him to leave his wife in the 7th month of their first child to make a confessed pilgrimage into the distant past, to a land foreign to him in every way except by extraction, generations back? Where is he headed, and why?
I stand by the window, carefully on the side where the moonlight cannot cast my shadow, and watch the courtyard of the inn below. A small truck like a weapons carrier is there, and Paddy and Mick climb into it. In a moment, it is gone to a destination I can only guess. By the time I am out the window, clambering to the courtyard and into my car, there is no hope of following, particularly when I find my distributor cap gone and my car useless. It's a long, agonizing walk for 5 miles, even on a moonlit night. And by the time I have crossed the bridge and climbed to the ridge above, I am at the ragged edge of exhaustion. But there is a reward. Far below, against the restless sea, there are pinpoints of light that move. I am near the end of my pilgrimage, and the bell is sounding again.
Denny.
What is it, Sheila?
The phone, it's ringing.
Well, what time is it?
It's 3:30 in the morning.
Well, who could be calling us now?
I don't know. I have been lying here awake, afraid that something was about to happen. Will you go down now and answer it, or shall I?
All right. I'm on my way, but who?
It's Brian. Or something about him. And whatever it is, no bell that rings in the night brings anything but ill luck.
Is that the last of them? Not by a long shot. And damn the moon. It's off away behind the clouds again.
I wish I was off away with it.
What's the matter, Mick? Are you afraid a banshee'll howl you off to your grave?
Well, there's little I like at all about this night. We're all stretching our necks across the gibbet one way or t'other.
Well, the sooner we deliver these guns over the border, the safer we'll be.
I wish now I'd stood away with the ship that delivered them 3 days ago, and I'd be out of this on the way home.
Well, you didn't. So let's have at it and get them away from the storehouse before... Wait a minute.
What is it?
By the ridge there. The silhouette of a man. Let's get the truck away and hidden around to the seaward side.
Hey?
You take it. Give me that cuss of yours, and I'll handle whatever comes this way.
Yes, Sergeant, he was. Well, he left yesterday morning about 9. All I know is he was headed somewhere north of Sligo, Galway Bay area. Yes, he was looking for a place named Carrickclena. No, not at all. And please, he's a cousin of mine and a very good friend. You will keep us notified and let us know what's happening. Yes, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
What is it, Denny?
Oh, what are you doing out of bed, Sheila?
Who was on the phone? You said Sergeant.
It was Liam Flaherty of the police. Oh, Sheila, there's all hell to pay.
Tell me.
There was a tracer from the States. They called the local here to get in touch with us.
Why?
The police in America. They're trying to get in touch with Brian.
What has Brian done?
That isn't the point. It's what's been done to him.
What?
Brace yourself, my darling. Somebody murdered his wife.
A moment ago, on my way down the hill, I could see Carrickclena full in the moon. What do they mean it's a ruin? It was just as I pictured it. Turrets, mullioned windows with diamond-shaped glass panes, great oak doors, and ivied granite. Now with the moon hidden, its silhouette looms over me, reaching out to me as I come home at...
Oh, cool. You didn't have to hit him so hard.
I wasn't taking any chances with Mr. Mackin this time.
Ah, is that who it is?
Say for yourself.
How'd he get over the drink and away and here?
No time to worry about that now.
You think he is police or maybe the British?
Whatever he is, we'll decide that later. Let's get the guns off and away first.
I'm standing in front of the great door of Carrickclena, and I know that everything's going to come clear at long last. I reach out and pull the bell. Even the bell is familiar, although I cannot quite place where I've heard it before. And now, the door is opening.
Good evening, Brian. We've been waiting for you.
Good evening, Your Lordship. I'm sorry I'm late.
No matter. We've but just finished dinner, and her ladyship is with the child. Will you join me in a glass of mulled wine?
At your pleasure.
I've not seen you for some time, and... the devil. I forgot. I must catch my sea captain before he leaves, to send some packets. Will you forgive me? I should not be over 2 hours or so. May I hope you will attend milady in my absence?
I should be happy to, except... Would you not rather I transmit the packages for you on my way home?
No. I must have certain words with the shipmaster that I alone can bring. Besides, I would not deprive Clena of some outside companionship. We're so isolated here, it would be cruel to deny her a new face to brighten her solitude.
The hour is late. Perhaps it would be better...
No, I won't hear of it. You shall be our guest for the night, and I shall be back post-haste. I'll try to make it in as close to 2 hours as possible. Meanwhile, make yourself completely at home.
I am in a dream, I suppose. For by my host's clothes, the speech, a calendar I find on the wall, I am back in the past over 100 years. But more important, I am within the walls of Carrig Clena, and the riddle of my whole life, I feel, is near to being solved. When Lord Carrig leaves, I am too impatient to wait for my answers. So I climb the great staircase to Clena's bedroom and knock on the door.
Who is it?
Brian.
A moment. What are you doing here?
I grew tired of waiting for you to come down.
My husband, he's...
Lord Carrig has ridden to town. It will be 2 hours before he returns. May I come in?
I shouldn't let you.
It's too late.
I thought you'd left for good 2 years ago.
When I lost you to him, I meant to. But for a while, I stayed hiding in the fen.
Oh, I know you were seen. Do you know what you've done to me? And why do you come back now?
I wanted to see the boy.
By what right?
Is he mine, Clena? I have to know. Is he mine?
No.
You called him by my name.
It was a foolish choice.
Why?
Because I loved you.
And now?
Oh, Brian, the years have come and gone. Lord Carrig is my husband and the father of my child. And I have a whole new life I've learned to accept.
I still want to know if the child is mine.
Let me go.
When you answer me.
How could he be yours? He was born 10 months after I married Lord Carrig.
Then why does everyone whisper he's mine?
Because you didn't leave as you promised. Why didn't you take yourself right out of my life?
But there was nothing between us after your marriage.
We know that, but no one else believes it.
They still think the child is mine.
Even Lord Carrig. I can't imagine why he could have welcomed you here tonight. I can't tell you how he... Wait a minute.
What is it?
Hush. Dear God, he's here. He'll kill me.
Over my dead body. And here it is. The moment I've reached back through a century for. The one I want to change. It's today I want to bring back. And Gloria and my own child that I killed in one moment of anger and hate as Lord Carrig plans to do with me and Clena now. I have only one chance of bringing Gloria back. To change history. Or at least to set it right.
He's coming up the outside balcony stairs. Through the French windows. Run, Brian, he'll kill me if he finds you here.
I'll kill him first for doubting you.
Oh, in heaven's name, no.
Lord Carrig, hold.
So once again you try to steal my wife.
Put up your dagger. I am unarmed.
So much the better. You first, and then my wife.
This time not so easily. I'm not the hunted, but the hunter. Look to yourself. He stands with his dagger half raised, frozen with inaction as I hurtle myself towards him, hands raised to shield and grapple and destroy him. But what I reach for is nothing but a shade. My outstretched hands grasp only air, and my hurtling body passing through his spectral waist crashes full tilt against the crumbling battlement, which gives way like powder. And of a sudden, just like the lover in the ancient legend, I am plummeting like today's skydiver towards the rocks below. And in this awful moment, I know that I was just as wrong about my wife, Gloria, as Lord Carrig was 100 years ago about Clena. Small comfort now to know that I am legitimate as the rocks below rush up towards me like an express train, and I am no more.
Are you ready, Sheila?
In a moment.
What is it, darling?
That bell. I don't know if I ever want to hear a bell in my life again.
That's only the church bell. We didn't ever hear the other one.
What happened to him, Denny?
Oh, I'd have to be God to answer that. He snapped. The way a lot of us do when life spins us around too fast and curdles our brains. Why do you think I ran away from it all and
and came here to find peace.
Brian really killed Gloria.
He'd had a nervous breakdown 2 months ago. He escaped from the sanitarium. His obsession about paternity had put him there, and Gloria was asking for a divorce. He lost his head. She lost her life.
But how did he think he could escape by coming here?
I don't think he was looking for escape, but... Oh, I know it's such a writer's word, but... expiation.
Are you saying, then, he was after taking his own life?
We'll never know, Sheila. The police say there's some evidence that the IRA were using Carrickclana as a depot for smuggled arms from the sea. Maybe he stumbled on them. The local folk would tell you that anyone in that haunted castle after dark, especially when the moon was full, was risking God knows what. And someone I know very dearly sensed he was marked by fate for death.
Oh, don't. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Perhaps for Brian Mackin 'twas the only way. Let's us go give him a decent burial and wish him peace at last.
A strange tale. A tortured man who borrowed a century-old sorrow and carried it on his back like the old man of the sea. Small wonder he broke eventually under the senseless strain and ran amok. A man to be censured, but also to be pitied. A man for whom the death bell sounded. Let his epitaph be John Dunn's, lest you stop to criticize too harshly. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. I'll be back shortly. There does stand, facing across the Atlantic to America, what once was a proud castle named Carrickclana. True enough, shortly after Brian Mackin's death, it was discovered that the cellar had been used for extensive gun running and as a munition dump. And 2 months after Brian died there, a mysterious explosion tumbled the rest of the castle into the sea, including the bodies of 2 smugglers later identified as Paddy Flynn and Mick Mahan. Since in the police view they were prime suspects on Brian Mackin's death, that closed the file, which had been titled for convenience Carrickclana. Our cast included Michael Tolan, Marian Seldes, William Redfield, and Guy Sorel. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
I'll come back later.
No, not till tomorrow.
All right, whatever you say. But I'll just look in on you later.
No,
Lucy.
You mustn't go quickly. Oh, good Lord. At the window. It's nothing. Go, Minna. It's nothing.
Nothing. It's that bat. That huge bat that followed my car.
Oh, go, I beg of you.
Lucy, the thing is trying to get in. Look, it's clawing at the window. Is that locked? Is that window locked?
Yes, it's locked.
But locks are useless against Count Dracula.
Oh, good Lord.
Mirrors do not reflect my image, Miss Harker. Nor do locks keep me out.
You were that bat.
As the wolves you hear are not wolves, but like myself, vampires.
Vampires?
The dead, who live by night.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by new sugar-free diet 7-Up. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the terrifying world of your imagination. Vampire. Perhaps in the safety of your home, the word means little to you. Oh, you've heard of vampires, of course, but do you believe that they exist? Not you. Well, all I can say is Minna Harker didn't believe either. Nor did Dr. John Seward. Not till that night in the graveyard, when they gazed horror-stricken into that coffin and heard Professor Van Helsing say,
"No, Miss Harker. John, don't turn away. Look. See for yourselves the truth."
Horrible. It's horrible.
What? Van Helsing, what can be done?
A stake must be driven into the body, straight through the heart, and then the head cut off.
Can you bring yourself to do that, Van Helsing?
That is not the question, John. The question is, can you?
Our mystery drama, Dracula, was specially adapted from the story by Bram Stoker for the Mystery Theater by George Lowther and stars Mercedes McCambridge. It is sponsored in part by new sugar-free Diet 7-Up and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Horror, in its purest form, lies ahead for us. I would be remiss if I didn't warn you that if your nerves are not strong, it might be better for you not to listen. No, really now, be warned. Because as Minna Harker tells us in the diary she kept, there awaits you
an experience so loathsome, so horrifying, that I can hardly bring myself to write of it. If I'd known what lay ahead for me when I went to visit my dearest and closest friend, Lucy Westenra, at Hillingham, I could not have brought myself to go, much as I loved her. Looking back now, I realize I had plenty of warning, but I paid no attention. For example, as I drove to the Westenra estate through that lonely, isolated country and heard the wolves howling in the distance, it occurred to me that it was strange to hear wolves in this part of the country. As strange as the huge bats that flew alongside my car. I mentioned this to John, Dr. John Seward, Lucy's fiancé, as we sat having a drink in the living room.
It's strange, Minna. I've seen that bat myself. The thing must have a wingspread of at least 4 feet. I haven't the faintest idea where it came from, or the wolves either.
Even Lucy's letters seemed kind of strange to me, John. What is the matter with her?
Oh, I don't know. I'm completely baffled. I've had 2 other doctors look at her, colleagues of mine, and they can't figure it out. I'm desperate, Minna. I'm so desperate I've called in my old friend and teacher, Professor Van Helsing.
Van Helsing?
Yes,
he's one of the finest diagnosticians in the world, John.
Yes, he'll be here from Amsterdam in a day or 2.
Amsterdam, Holland?
Yeah.
All the way from Amsterdam? Oh, John, you must be desperate.
Lucy is dying, Minna. I'll do anything I can to save her. We must find a way to stop her from losing blood.
Losing blood?
Well, it's this constant loss of blood that's killing her. Transfusions help for a time, but only a short time, and each transfusion is less effective.
John, when can I see her?
Oh, she's sleeping now. Our mother's with her, watching her. We take turns. As soon as Mrs. Westenra lets us know she's awake...
Oh, listen, those wolves, they're at it again. John, hasn't anyone looked into this wolf thing? How they suddenly come to be in this part of the country?
Well, according to the paper, the town police have looked into it. Well, that's peculiar, too.
What?
Well, they haven't been able to spot one single wolf. Oh, excuse me, we have a visitor. Oh, come in, Count, come in.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm on my way to town. I have a dinner engagement, and I thought I would stop to ask after Miss Westenra.
Oh, she's no better, I'm afraid.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Can you stay for a drink?
Well,
I'd like you to meet a friend of Lucy's who will be staying with us for a while.
Oh, in that case, of course.
Minna, this is Count Dracula, our new neighbor. Count Miss Minna Harker.
How do you do?
How do you do? Count Dracula?
Yes, but do not hold it against me, Miss Harker. I cannot help being of the blood royal.
Well, why don't you two get acquainted while I go up and see if Lucy's awake yet?
I shall do my best to entertain this charming young lady.
I won't be a minute.
You're a long way from home, Count.
A very long way, Miss Harker.
May I ask what brought you here?
Business?
Business? Good heavens, what kind of business could you have in this part of the country? I mean, it's so isolated.
True, it does present difficulties, but I like living in the country.
Oh, you must. Oh, forgive me, I'm forgetting my manners. Would you like a drink?
Thank you.
Scotch or bourbon?
Is there perhaps some wine? Red wine?
Now, let me see. I'm not very familiar with the supply here. Here we are. There's a bottle of Burgundy.
That glass of that will be... Oh. Miss Harker, what's wrong? What is it?
It's the bottle. I'm afraid it slipped. It slipped. That's all. Oh, I'm afraid I cut my hand. No, don't be upset. It's only a slight cut, see?
No. Lucy's awake and we can... Count, what's wrong? Minna, your hand.
I must leave at once, Doctor. Sorry, I cannot stay. Something I just remembered. No, it's all right. I will see myself out.
What in the world? But, Count... Minna, what happened? Minna?
I dropped the bottle of wine and cut my hand.
Yes, I see you did, but...
I dropped the bottle because I couldn't see him in the mirror.
Couldn't see? What mirror?
This mirror over the table. It reflects the whole room.
Well, of course it does, but...
John, I picked up the bottle to pour Count Dracula a drink, and I looked into the mirror, and he was standing where you are now, and I couldn't see him in the mirror. He was there where you're standing, but he wasn't reflected in the glass.
Minna, you're not making sense. And you're trembling.
John, I'm scared.
Of what?
How can you ask? I look in the mirror and didn't see someone who should have been reflected in it. Is something going wrong with my eyes or my brain, John? What?
Minna, easy. I don't want another patient on my hands.
But, John,
An optical illusion, something like that. Our eyes play tricks on us sometimes. Now, come on. Let's get a bandage for that cut, and then we'll go up and see Lucy.
I believe, John, it had to be a trick my eyes had played. What else? Well, we got a bandage for the cut on my hand, and then John took me to Lucy's room. I can't find words to describe the shock I felt when I saw her. She was white as new-fallen snow, and so thin, she almost seemed transparent. She's dying. That was my first thought. She's dying, and nothing can save her. And I know she read the thoughts in my face. I could see the sudden fear in her eyes.
I am dying, Minna.
Oh, you mustn't even think that, Lucy.
You do.
I?
It was in your face when you looked at me. I read your thoughts. She's dying, you thought. And nothing can save her. I am. And nothing can save me.
Oh, John can save you. And he will.
He hasn't so far.
You mustn't despair, Lucy.
Despair, Minna? I don't have the strength to despair. We better go now, Minna.
Go? Lucy, dear, I haven't seen you in nearly a year. We haven't even started to tell each other everything that's happened.
Later. Not now. I'm tired. I want to sleep.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll come back later.
No, not till tomorrow.
All right, whatever you say. But I'll just look in on you later.
No,
Lucy.
You mustn't.
All right, then. But stop upsetting yourself.
Go quickly.
Oh, good Lord. at the window.
It's nothing. Go, Minna. It's nothing.
Nothing. It's that bat. That huge bat that followed my car.
Oh, go, I beg of you.
Lucy, the thing is trying to get in. Look, it's clawing at the window. Is that locked? Is that window locked?
Yes, it's locked.
But locks are useless against Count Dracula.
Oh, good Lord.
Mirrors do not reflect my image, Miss Harker. Nor do locks keep me out.
You were that bat.
As the wolves you hear are not wolves, but like myself, vampires.
Vampires?
The dead, who live by night. The dead undead.
No, this can't be happening. It's a dream. It's a nightmare.
That's what it will seem like when you wake up.
Huh?
Yes, you're going to sleep now. And yet not sleep. You will remember all you see and hear, but when you waken, it will seem like a dream. A dream you'll tell no one, not even Professor Van Helsing. Because you will not want to look foolish. You'll be ashamed to tell it for fear he will think you're a silly young woman. Enough. Sleep.
Did I sleep? Did I dream? No. My sleep was a hypnotic trance into which he had placed me. And what I dreamed was reality. There in the moonlight that streamed through the window, I saw Dracula raise his arms and call.
Lucy. Lucy, my dearest love, come to me. Come, my darling.
I can't. Too weak. My lover. I'm too weak.
Then I shall come to you. Embrace you. Kiss you.
And now the strangest thing of all happened to me. As I watched what then took place, my love for my friend Lucy, my fears for her, made me feel as she must have felt, so poignantly, so deeply that, yes, I became Lucy. I watched Dracula as he approached my bed. There was a deliberate voluptuousness in him which I found both thrilling and repulsive. Lower and lower went his head as the lips went below the range of my mouth and chin and seemed about to fasten on my throat. I could feel the hot breath on my neck. Then the skin of my throat began to tingle. I could feel the soft, shivering touch of his lips on the supersensitive skin of my throat, and then two hard dents of two sharp teeth just touching and pausing there. I closed my eyes in a languorous ecstasy, and I waited. I waited with a beating heart. And then horror overcame me, and I sank into unconsciousness.
I promised you horror. Have I kept my promise? Here then, another promise, another warning. I promise that the horror you have just experienced is nothing compared to what is to come. Think twice before you return with me shortly with Act 2.
The WBBM News Time, 10:49. Temperature in Chicago, 60 degrees.
Visiting her friend, Lucy Westenra, at the Westenra's lonely estate far out in the country, Minna Harker comes face to face with horror in the form of a vampire, Count Dracula. She has witnessed the frightful scene of Dracula entering her friend's bedroom, biting her throat, sucking her blood. So gruesome was it all or perhaps because of hypnotic suggestion, as Minna writes in her diary,
I thought it must have been a dream, a nightmare, for nothing so vile and revolting could be real. But though I tried during the next day or two to persuade myself it was only a dream, there were signs, warnings all about me that told me I was lying to myself. There was the nightly howling of the wolves, the screeching of that huge bat around the house. And yes, this scarf that Lucy kept wrapped round her throat. It's such a hot afternoon. How can you bear to wear that scarf around your throat?
Hot? I feel cold.
But, Lucy, you're perspiring. Your forehead is damp.
All I want to do is sleep. I'm so tired. I'm so deathly tired.
I'll leave you for a while, then. I'll look in on you later to make sure you're all right.
Oh.
Sleep well.
Minna?
Yes, dear?
If I'm asleep when you come back, promise me you won't remove this scarf from around my throat.
Very well.
You won't even touch it. Promise?
I promise. Later that afternoon, toward evening, Professor Van Helsing arrived from Holland. When John introduced me to him, he stared at me suddenly and hard, his eyes boring into me from behind his thick lensed glasses.
You are frightened, Miss Harker? Why?
Frightened?
Maybe she hasn't recovered from that optical illusion the other night.
Optical illusion?
Yes, you see that mirror over the table there?
Yes.
Well, we had a visitor, Count Dracula, a new neighbor at Carfax, a few miles from here, and Minna had the illusion that she couldn't see his reflection in the mirror.
My eyes must have played a trick on me, Professor.
Yes. This Count Dracula, John, he's new here, you say?
Yes, he arrived from Hungary about 6 weeks ago.
I see. Take me to see your fiancée, John.
Oh, she's sleeping, Lucy, sleeping.
We'd
right
better wake her up.
What is it? You seem suddenly concerned.
I am. Take me to Lucy at once. Now wake her, John.
All right.
Gently. Very gently.
Lucy? Lucy, dear. Come on, wake up.
Here. Let me. Pulse weak, very weak. Eyes. No, she's not asleep. She's in a coma. What is her blood type?
Oh?
So is mine. Prepare for a transfusion, John. I will be the donor. And hurry, man, hurry.
Yes, of course.
Meanwhile, I shall have a look under this scarf.
No, she didn't want the scarf removed.
I'm sure she didn't, Miss Harker, but we're going to remove it. Aha. As I thought.
What is it?
Yes, Professor, what?
Look.
Look. There are two little holes. Wounds.
As if she'd been bitten by a large snake.
No, not a snake.
Well, what then? What?
We must be quick with the transfusion, very quick. And pray God, both of you, that I have not arrived too late.
But he was too late. The transfusion revived Lucy a little. When we'd made her as comfortable as we could, the three of us, Professor Van Helsing, John, and I, went back down to the living room. And it was here that Professor Van Helsing told us the truth. The truth that made John Seward cry out.
Vampire? You say we are dealing with a vampire, Professor? Have you gone out of your mind?
My dear John, I don't blame you.
Blame me? I should hope not. You ask me to believe me, a doctor, a man of medical science?
Science? There's more to this world than science.
But, Professor, a vampire? I can't believe that there's a vampire.
I tell you that witches exist. That warlocks exist. That vampires exist. And we are dealing with one here.
But if what you say is true...
It is. Ask her. Ask Miss Harker.
Me?
You had an experience in this house that you are concealing. You choose to think it was a dream.
When did it happen, child? Last night?
No. The night before.
Where?
In Lucy's bedroom.
Minna, what happened?
I dreamed...
No, it was no dream.
All right, then. I saw... Oh, heaven protect me. I saw...
You needn't tell me. No need to put you through that. I would if I didn't know who our vampire is. But I do know. Who? The man whose reflection she could not see in that mirror. Your new neighbor, Count Dracula.
I don't believe you. I cannot believe you.
If you can't believe me, at least trust me.
Oh, I'll answer that.
Wait.
Yes, Professor.
If that should be Count Dracula, you did say that he calls about this time each evening, John?
Yes.
Say nothing, do nothing to give away the fact that we are unto him.
This is nonsense, sheer
Do
nonsense.
as I tell you. You may answer the door now, Miss Harker.
Yes.
Good evening, Miss Harker.
Count Dracula? Come in.
And how is Miss Westenra today?
Not too well, I'm afraid. She had to have another transfusion.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, John. Very sorry to hear that.
Thank you, Count.
I do not believe I have met this gentleman.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you haven't. Let me present my old friend and teacher, Professor Abraham Van Helsing. Professor, this is Count Dracula.
How do you do, Professor?
How do you do, Count?
I wished only to inquire about your fiancée, John. I'm sorry indeed to hear she is no better. If there's anything I can do...
Thank you.
Meeting you, Professor, has been a pleasure. Good night.
Oh, Count.
Yes?
Mrs. Westenra keeps asking me to do this, and I keep forgetting. There is a custom in the Westenra family to ask visitors to sign the visitor's book.
Ah, charming old world custom.
It's
John.
right here. If you'll just wait a second, I'll get it, and then you can sign it. Is something wrong?
It's a Bible.
Well, yes. Why do you back away from me? Or are you backing away from the book? The holy book?
I must go.
No, you'll stay and face this book.
You know.
John, you fool. You shouldn't have done this. I had to have proof.
I will make you pay for this. You shall pay.
Oh, no. Not now that I have found out what you are.
Oh, John.
You think because you discovered my secret you can stop me? Fool. You've only delivered yourself into my hands. I meant to make Lucy one of mine, and that was all. But now you shall become mine, and you...
Not I.
Yes, and you.
No, I beg you.
I shall have you all, but first... Lucy, I shall take her. Take her. Now. She is mine. She's no longer of this world, but of mine. I leave you.
Look, he turned into a bat. The bat. And he flew right through the wall.
John.
Oh.
John, why did you do this? Why, after I warned you?
I had to know one way or the other. I had to know.
There's only one way to finish a vampire. Oh, the first thing you must do is find out where he sleeps during the day.
Lucy! Professor, quickly. Professor!
There is no hurry now. When he said he meant to make her his own, he had already done so.
It was true. Lucy was dead. We went to her bedroom and found her. Dead. I felt as if I'd been stabbed to the heart. We buried her, my dearest friend, in the Westenra vault at Hillingham Cemetery, not far from town.
Lucy is gone. Dead?
No, not dead.
Not dead, Professor.
She has become the undead. She has become a vampire.
Oh, what are you saying?
John, listen to me. Believe in me. You didn't believe before. Believe now.
Yes. I believe you. Go on.
John, you feel you've been through hell. I must tell you that you have been through only the anteroom to hell.
What do you mean?
Now listen to me. Listen carefully. There is only one way in which a vampire can find peace. Can be changed from the undead to the dead. What you must do,
terrible as it will be, will release her soul from the horrifying bondage in which it finds itself. Her soul and Dracula's.
Dracula's?
Do you think a vampire wants to be a vampire? Oh, no. A vampire's soul is chained, pinioned, held mercilessly to this earth by Satan himself. And we who believe in God, are the only ones who can free them. It is our duty to destroy them.
Well, then let's destroy them.
We shall, if you have the nerve to do what must be done.
I have the nerve.
Professor, you frighten me.
I mean to, in order to prepare you. But no matter how well I prepare you, when it comes to doing what must be done, your sanity could snap like that. So first I will ask you both to take as much time as you need to think, to ask yourselves, how much do you really love Lucy Westenra? And be sure, be positive beyond all doubt that your love for her is greater than the hell that lies ahead for you and you this very night.
One section of Minna Harker's diary ends at this point. I've read the next and final section, and I can tell you this. Van Helsing said that John and Minna had only experienced the anteroom to hell. He was right. Fearfully right. I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
This is WBBM, Chicago News Radio 78.
We come now to that final section of Minna Harker's diary. You've been warned about what lies ahead, so I'll not warn you again. But, quite honestly, I wish someone had warned me before I read it, this final section. Why? Because I've never quite gotten over it. That's why. I thought I knew what horror was until I read it. I changed my mind. You will, too.
I'm ready, Professor.
I knew you would be, John. We'll wait now for Miss Harker.
No, there's no need to wait. I love Lucy enough. More than enough. She was my dearest friend.
Is your dearest friend. For she is not yet dead. She is as yet the dead undead. It's nearly sundown. Let us go to the cemetery at once.
The cemetery?
Will be dark by the time we get there. She will have left her coffin.
Left it?
Well, like Count Dracula, she cannot go on living, or let me say, being the undead without drinking human blood. And to find it, she must, of course, leave her coffin. The instant the sun goes down tonight, she will be on the prowl for little children.
Children?
Yes, children are innocent, gullible, naive, make easier victims. And the inexperienced vampire must practice. Yes, she will be seeking children.
Oh, it's revolting.
Revolting? Well, that is only a word to you at the moment. In a short time, it will be reality. Do you really think you can bear what is to come?
I can. I must.
Good. I have preparations to make. So do you, the two of you. Dress warmly.
Warmly? But it's hot out.
Child, there is no chill like a graveyard chill.
We drove to Hillingham Cemetery in John's car. I'd never been in a cemetery at night. How many people have? I found it a very unsettling experience, to say the least. It was a moonlit night, the moonlight spilling like milk over the gravestones, which in turn threw long black shadows. An owl hooted, and dogs barked, or I couldn't help thinking, were they wolves? And then we reached the Westenra vault, the vault where we'd put Lucy's coffin that afternoon.
Now what do we do, Professor?
We go into the vault.
Why? And how?
I have the key to the vault.
How did you get it?
I asked the undertaker for it, or rather told him to give it to me. He assumed I was a member of the family. You need not come with me. Not now.
But why shouldn't we come?
I wish to save you as much shock as I can. She will not be there in the coffin. It will be a shock for you to find it empty. On the other hand, it will be less a shock than what is to follow. Yes, it will prepare you. Come then. I shall open the coffin now.
If she isn't in it, how could she have got out?
I could tell you, but it is better that you see for yourself later. Now, this won't take long. I need only unscrew the top part. Now to lift off the top of the lid. Yes, empty. She's gone.
Where? Gone where, in God's name? Where?
In search of the life-giving blood, John. In search of a small child.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
John?
Yes?
Come. We go outside the vault. Now to lock the door. Now, that's most important. And now, what I must do will take a little time. Yes, make yourselves as comfortable as you can.
Make ourselves comfortable.
Professor, what must you do?
Well, I have here a paste made of garlic, flour, and water. I must seal off every crevice with it. Seal all around the door so Lucy cannot get back into the vault, into her coffin.
She could?
Through the crevices, yes. How do you think she got out of the coffin?
I can't believe it.
Yes. It is unbelievable. But it is so. Now, forgive me. I must get to work.
I can't express in words how fresh and clean the night air seemed when we came out of the tomb. How sweet to breathe the fresh air that held no taint of death or decay. John was silent, and so was I. As for Professor Van Helsing, he was very busy sealing the door.
10 o'clock. I hope both of you took my advice, dressed warmly. We have a long wait ahead of us.
How much longer, Professor? I'm chilled to the bone.
Everything depends on how long it takes her to find a small child. Nearly 2 o'clock. She's been gone several hours. Soon now, I think... Shh! What? She comes.
Where?
See there? Amidst the headstones?
Yes, a woman. Dressed in white.
Lucy. Shh. Make no move, no noise. You see, she is carrying something in her arms. A child.
I feel sick.
Control yourself. Ah, there. Yes, she's coming toward the vault. See, she draws back. The mixture I used repels her.
Why are we doing this? Why are you keeping her out of the vault, her coffin?
Because I hope... Yes, she is leaving, hurrying away from among the headstones. Come, we must follow.
Follow where?
To Dracula, I hope. Unless I'm mistaken, she's going to him for help. Hurry. We must keep her in sight. No, wait.
What is it?
She is heading for that tomb. Dracula must be there. Good. Now watch. See, now she's putting the child down on the ground. And now...
Where is she?
Where's she?
She's vanished.
She simply slipped into the tomb through the crevice around the door. Oh, wait here.
Yes.
What's he doing? He's picking up the child, I think. Yes. See, he's coming back now.
Here, Miss Harker. You take the child. Keep it warm.
Oh, this poor thing. Poor little thing. Look, it doesn't move. It doesn't make a sound. It's lifeless.
No, only in a trance. It will recover. But remember, when I ask you to do what must be done, remember that we have saved not only this child, but God knows how many others.
I'll remember.
Good. And now we will return to her tomb and wait till dawn.
Till dawn?
She will return to the tomb then. She has no choice. Dracula cannot help her. She must sleep in her own coffin before daybreak. How do you feel, Miss Harker?
I'm all right, thank you.
John?
I'm okay. It's almost dawn. Why doesn't she come?
Soon now. How's the child?
Still asleep, if it is only sleep.
It is. It will not come to its senses until daybreak. Now, prepare yourselves for... In a very short time, now Lucy should... there. Yes, she's coming.
And this time she'll be able to enter the tomb. Could you remove the garlic mixture?
This time I want her to enter the tomb and her coffin. It will be there that you will do what must be done.
Oh, there she is. Oh, heaven help me. She is as beautiful as she always was.
Now, hold on to yourself.
She isn't dead. She can't be dead. Lucy! Lucy, my darling!
John! No, come back!
Lucy!
John, my dearest, come to me, John! Come to me!
I have never seen anything so horrible. And God save me from ever seeing it again. Lucy's eyes shone with an unholy light, and her face became wreathed with a voluptuous smile as she advanced toward John with outstretched arms.
Come to me, dearest. My arms are hungry for you. Come, and we can rest together in the tomb. Come, my lover. Come.
And John suddenly opened wide his arms and started running to her, and she to him, when Van Helsing rushed forward between them. And he raised something he held in his hand up against her face. It was a crucifix. With a cry of rage and agony, Lucy flung herself away from John and toward the tomb, and she was gone.
John, are you all right?
The Lord help me. The Lord help me.
And he shall. Come into the tomb. It's time. Now, first, let me put the bag I brought over here. And now I will remove the coffin lid again.
Professor, is this really Lucy's body or some kind of demon in her shape?
Oh, she's hideous.
Yes, your friend who was so sweet and pure is now a foul thing. But if you can do what you must do, you will see her once again as she was.
Whatever it is, we'll do it.
This wooden stake I have bought.
Yes.
This pointed stake. You must drive it through Lucy's heart. With this hammer.
Oh, no.
And when that is done, cut off her head with this surgical knife.
I don't...
You must do it. For her sake, John. For the sake of the woman you loved.
All right. Give me the stake. And the hammer.
John took the stake in his left hand, the hammer in his right. I saw him tremble as he placed the point of the stake over Lucy's heart, saw the point dig into her white flesh, and then I could see him gather all his strength, all his self-control. He raised the hammer high above his head and looked at Van Helsing.
Yes.
Now! John struck with all his might. The thing in the coffin writhed, and a hideous blood-curdling screech came from the opened lips. The body shook and twisted in wild contortions. John never faltered. He struck, and he struck again, driving the stake deeper, deeper. His blood from the pierced heart welled and spurted up around it. And then the writhing and quivering of the body became less. The teeth stopped champing, and the thing lay still. It was over.
Is that enough, Professor?
Enough.
I think I'm going to...
I've got you. There. Now go outside, get some air.
No.
Both of you go. You look faint too, Miss Parker.
I must still her head.
No.
I have...
You have done all that can be asked of you. No more. I will sever the head. Now go now, but before you do, look at your beloved Lucy for the last time.
There, in the coffin, lay no longer the foul thing we dreaded, but Lucy, as we had seen her in life, her face as beautiful and pure as it had been then.
You will want to know that later on, Professor Van Helsing freed Count Dracula from his earthly bondage, and in so doing, brought his bloody career to an end. Unhappily, I must add that Count Dracula was only one vampire among, how many? I don't know. Hope I never find out. Hope you don't either. I'll be back shortly. I've been asked, do vampires really exist? No one will deny that strange, bizarre, and, yes, gruesome things happen in this world which no one can explain. As Professor Van Helsing himself said, what science cannot prove, science claims does not exist. Well, anyhow, I play it safe. Use plenty of garlic. I'm afraid it keeps my friends at a distance as well as vampires. But then, you can't have everything. Our cast included Mercedes McCambridge, Paul Hecht, Stefan Schnabel, Michael Wager, and Marian Seldes. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Now, a preview of our next tale.
I saw the glowing tips of 2 flip cigarettes. And then...
Kiss me, Richard.
I'm crazy about you.
Stop it! Stop it!
Tom!
What are you...
Marian, go inside. Go inside, I tell you.
Now, wait a minute.
Why? If you have anything to say, you can say it here in front of Richard.
Go inside.
Let go of my
Now,
arm.
listen, you leave her alone. Let go of her!
He broke my grip on her arm and pushed me away. His shove made me slip to my knee. I came up swinging at his face and missed. He pinned my arms from behind.
Now, listen. What's the matter with you? Are you crazy?
I broke out of his grip, stepped back from him, and fell across the shovel. I grabbed the handle, jumped up.
No!
And swung at Emery. Too late for me to stop the swing.
No!
As she rushed in between us, the sharp edge of the shovel hit her in the back of the head.
Oh!
I stood there, holding the shovel, unable to move.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.